The great wave of magical technology. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 526 Reason. Simon, tell me why you did this? The elder looked at the middle-aged man with a cold tone. And do you know what you are doing now? I know he is the elder, your friend. The middle-aged man said with an unspeakable look, as if he had something to hide. Of course he knew that he was your friend, but he had no choice. For the sake of his wife and daughter, he had no choice but to kill this kid. The androgynous voice came out again. Who are you? You are sneaking around. Get out of here. The elder roared loudly. His eyes had turned red. He never thought that someone would betray the ancestral land. Yunfan sat cross-legged with his eyes closed. The water and fire archaic diagrams surrounded him, and he began to explore what was going on. After May came in, she glanced at the elders and others who were showing expressions of shock and anger. Even Simon, the middle-aged man who assassinated Yunfan, also looked at him angrily. You promised me that, if I come to assassinate the elder's friend, you will release my daughter and wife. What are you looking at? You even believe my words? Your daughter and wife have been dead for a long time. I'm afraid you can't even see their bodies. Haha. You. Haha. I like to see your desperate expressions the most. May laughed wantonly like a demon. What a powerful method, colorless and tasteless, and can't be detected. Yunfan now has no time to pay attention to the middle-aged man. What kind of method is this? It's like an attached maggot, but it seems to be deeply rooted in every cell and can't be eradicated at all. If this goes on, I'm afraid my body will be finished in an hour. Yunfan's eyes contained endless anger. He had understood the whole story from their conversation. The people of the Destruction Clan were simply crazy. Tell me what happened to him now, and remove the poison from his body, and I can let you live. The Great Elder glared at Wu Yu fiercely. I never thought that the Great Elder of the human race would compromise with me for a kid. I'm more and more curious about who this kid is. Is he your son? Wu Yu felt a little unbelievable when she heard that the Great Elder actually compromised with her. You know, everyone who has seen the Great Elder knows that the Great Elder has always hated evil and wanted to kill the Destroyer clan. Today, the Great Elder of the human race would actually compromise with the Destroyer clan for a kid. This is simply impossible. This kid has been poisoned by my voodoo. He will definitely die today. Wu Yu was very confident. I got this from an ancient relic. Not to mention him, even if a demigod is poisoned by this poison, he will definitely die. What's more, I really don't have a way to detoxify it. After hearing what the other party said, the elder's face turned livid. He had also heard of voodoo. Legend has it that tens of thousands of years ago, there were thousands of races, and the Wu clan was also a very powerful race among the thousands of races, ranking in the top 100. Because the people of the Wu clan are good at using poison, even enemies who are stronger than him will be poisoned to death by them. So few people dare to offend them. It's just that the Wu clan was too arrogant, and the Dragon King of the Dragon Clan took action, causing the Dragon Clan to move out in full force, and the entire Wu clan was destroyed. And the Wu clan's poisoning technique has disappeared since then. Most of the voodoo that is circulating on the mainland now is excavated from the ruins of the Wu clan, and the number is extremely rare. Ordinary people have never even heard of it. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. How could he be poisoned by voodoo? Haha, do you understand now? He is incurable now, unless he abandons his body. Wu Yu laughed arrogantly. As long as this kid dies. Even if I avenge that guy, I don't think the adults will do anything to me. How can you, a small human race, have an antidote? Damn Simon, do you know what you have done? You are a traitor to the human race. The body of the Great Elder was trembling because of being too excited. The ancestor's injury was finally solved, but his own people killed this hope. Great Elder, aren't you saying this too harshly? Simon just wanted to save his wife and daughter, and it's understandable. At this time, the second elder of the human race came in and said to the Great Elder who was about to go crazy Simon's identity was extraordinary. Although he was not the direct blood of the second elder, he had a certain blood relationship, so she didn't want to execute Simon for Yunfan, an outsider. After he finished speaking, he cast his eyes on Wu Yu. You are a small remnant of the Destruction clan, and you dare to be rampant here. I will take you in now. Another demigod has come. Wu Yu's face changed, and he turned around and wanted to escape. His physique is very special. If it is not for the existence of restraining him, it is very difficult to kill him. At this moment, Wu Yu has turned into thousands of destructive auras, and each group of destructive auras has turned into a skull, and those skulls are flying in all directions. However, the second elder of the human race will not let Wu Yu go easily. Fire field. The powerful fire elemental power spread quickly, dyeing the surrounding area within 100 miles red. The fierce burning of the fire seemed to want to evaporate the entire earth. The moment the flame spread, many destructive auras were burned out. Although the destructive aura is much higher than the single elemental power, even restraint has a limit. When the elemental power is huge to a certain extent, it can also devour the destructive power in turn. Damn bastard. Wu Yu didn't expect that at this moment. He actually lost so much destructive power. After the consumption of Yunfan and the second elder, the strength he can exert now is less than 1/10. Now even if he meets an ordinary saint level strongman, he may be defeated. Eternal fire. The powerful flame power spread again, consuming a lot of the flying skulls again. Damn. I didn't expect that there are such masters in the ancestral land of the human race. Wu Yu wanted to hide like a frightened bird, but he found that it was all in vain. What should I do? He regretted it now. Why did he suddenly show up? Feeling the destructive energy in his body getting less and less, Wu Yu's mood can be imagined. The second elder did not want to give Wu Yu a chance to escape. Chapter 527 Immortal Destiny. The second elder pushed the power of the domain to the maximum, and the raging fire illuminated the entire ancestral land. Almost everyone felt the surging power of the fire. That power is so familiar. Who angered the second elder? Many people in the ancestral land have already felt that power, and even many people already know who that power belongs to. No. Wu Yu knew that, if he continued like this, he would be completely finished. He instantly communicated with the drop of blood essence left in his body, and a powerful destructive aura instantly burst out. That power seemed to be able to tear everything apart, and it seemed even more violent. At the moment when the power burst out, the second elder's mind was shocked, and Wu Yu took this opportunity to escape instantly. No longer able to feel the breath of May, the second elder's face was a little ugly, but the second elder quickly dispelled the unhappy mood, glanced at the elder and said, "Brother, give me a face. How about sparing Simon this time? You know, he is also forced. Then you just pray that Brother G is okay. Otherwise, I will definitely kill Simon with my own hands," the elder said in a deep voice. Hearing the words of the first elder, the second elder's face became ugly again. "Brother, you are not giving me face. Don't think that, just because the ancestor is injured now, you are the boss of our human race. Do you know what Simon did?" The first elder said in a cold tone. "What did you do? Didn't he just assassinate a human teenager? We sacrificed our lives for the human race, so what's the big deal about killing a human?" The second elder said indifferently. "Second brother, do you know what you are talking about now? What's the difference between you and those alien races now?" The first elder looked at his second brother in disbelief, as if he had never known him. "I'm sorry, brother, I said something wrong." The second elder sighed. "Once the ancestor leaves us, what's the point of our persistence? Forget these things, let's talk about them later." The first elder ignored the second elder and walked towards Yunfan. "Brother G, how do you feel now? The situation is not optimistic. I can't find the source of the poison at all." Yunfan smiled bitterly. In that strange stone house, the monster under the boulder was suffering endless torture. He had to suffer endless pain and try to keep him alive, because the longer the torture lasted, the greater his resentment would be. The stronger the destructive force generated, the stronger the scepter of destruction forged. When May exhausted the blood essence, the monster seemed to be seriously injured. "Haha. It seems that the little guys you brought are not very good. I don't know who directly used my blood essence." Although the black-robed man had no expression on his face, his heart was not calm at this moment. He knew very well how tempting the blood essence he gave to his men was. Someone actually used that blood essence. Even if he didn't die, the situation would not be optimistic. He faintly felt that May's breath was slowly weakening. Ancestral prison. Dead. I didn't expect that they were all dead. In order to keep you alive, I betrayed my people and my beliefs. Simon felt a deep sorrow at this moment. Fierce Simon couldn't control his tears, and his heart was like a knife. The woman who had been his childhood sweetheart, the woman who regarded him as everything, the woman who always smiled lovingly at him, actually left him forever. Ah. Simon suddenly raised his head and wailed in great pain, and the wailing sound spread throughout the ancestral land. Several guards outside the cell door couldn't help but tremble when they heard the wailing sound. They all felt the endless pain contained in the wailing sound. Uncle Simon. One of the young boys shed tears. How could that high-spirited uncle, the hero of the human race, end up like this? This is more painful and terrifying than the torture of the human race. Many people have heard about what he did. Most people are already at a loss, not knowing how to face this former heroic tribesman. I want to go out. I want to go out. I want to go out. Simon's voice trembled. I want to avenge fear and kill all the destruction tribes. At the same time, Yunfan was still looking for a way to heal himself. I haven't reached the top of the world in this life. How can I die like this? An extremely strong desire for life filled his whole body and soul. He wanted to remove the voodoo from his body. Exclamation mark. In his previous life, he reached the pinnacle of the world, and he must be able to do it in this life. Otherwise, even if he became a ghost, he would be extremely regretful and unwilling. I must find out what is going on. Yunfan closed his eyes and trembled. His soul reached the extreme under this extremely strong emotion of wanting to survive. At the same time, his brain was thinking rapidly. If the body is poisoned, it is absolutely impossible to have no symptoms. This is not normal. This feeling now is a bit like the condition of the ancestor of the human race. Could it be the rules, decay? Yunfan had a vague understanding in his heart. This voodoo is not a medicine. This is the origin of the world. It is basically a curse. It is it. Yunfan's constantly changing data flow in the space of consciousness suddenly stopped, and a rule model appeared in his mind, containing all the factors. Immortal destiny. Yunfan opened his eyes, and at this moment, he understood a little of the mystery of the rules of destiny, and from then on he would be immune to curses. Ah. Yunfan raised his head and let out a long roar. I finally did it. He immediately stood up and turned into a phantom and walked out of the room. Brother G. The elder looked at Yunfan with concern. Don't worry, elder, I'm fine now. Yunfan gave the elder a reassuring look. Maybe because of this incident, I can speed up the treatment of the ancestors' injuries. How is this possible? The elder looked at Yunfan in disbelief. I have some insights, but what I didn't expect the most is that the legendary voodoo was actually created using the power of rules. Fortunately, I have a certain understanding of the rules. Otherwise, even a demigod would probably not be able to escape this disaster. Yunfan said with lingering fear. By the way, Brother G, I have locked Simon up. You have the final say on how to deal with him. The great elder said. Since there is a reason for this, how about giving him a chance? Yunfan thought for a moment and said. Chapter 528, Alien Invasion. He put himself in the other person's position. He felt that his behavior might be the same as Simon's, sacrificing a person he didn't know to win a glimmer of life for his relatives. So Simon was brought here by the great elder, because he had long known that Yunfan didn't intend to kill him. So Simon knelt down directly after seeing Yunfan. Thank you for sparing my life, sir. I have no way to repay you. If there is an afterlife, I'm willing to be your slave. Yunfan heard his determination from the other person's words. It seems that you are ready to destroy the whole clan. Yes, sir. Simon's eyes were full of determination. Do you know that you may die if you do this? Of course I know. The reason why I have the courage to survive now is for revenge. After half a month of treatment, the injuries of the human ancestor have improved greatly, and his strength has recovered to the middle level of demigod. It will be easy for him to live for a few more decades. However, the news of the recovery of the human ancestor has not been spread. Once those alien races know about it, they will definitely come to destroy it at all costs. Although the strength of the human race's ancestral land is strong, it cannot withstand the alliance of alien races. Yunfan had just helped the human race's ancestor heal his injuries. The originally clearly visible mountain scenery was suddenly shrouded by the black fog that covered the sky. Many human races noticed this situation and looked into the distance in astonishment. What happened? What? I saw several human race masters also walked out of the room and looked into the distance in astonishment. Someone actually came to attack our ancestral land. Some passionate people picked up their weapons one by one, ready to join the battle at any time. Kill them. Kill them at all costs. We can't let them do whatever they want in our human race's ancestral land. Suddenly, a rough and extremely angry voice came from a distance. We can't let them enter the ancestral land. Many human race masters wearing animal skins also shouted loudly. They knew very well that the current situation was very critical. Once outsiders are allowed to enter the ancestral land, the women and children in the ancestral land will become the targets of others' killing. The ancestral land can be said to be the last line of defense of the human race. Once it is breached, the human race will lose their faith. What awaits the human race in the underground world is only defeat and destruction. The ancestral land must be protected, and those invading enemies must be killed. Kill these aliens. I saw a large number of human races rushing madly in the direction of the invading enemies. The alien races that came this time almost included all the alien races in the underground world, and these alien races seemed to have no fear of death. Several elders of the human race came out of seclusion at the same time, and some of them with hot tempers had already rushed through the air. I saw endless blazing flames descending in an instant, and a large amount of flames surrounded those alien races and began to burn, directly burning some of the weaker alien races to death. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 4 figures in the alien group turned into phantoms and rushed directly to the figure, entangled by the flames. Demigod. The figure surrounded by flames was the second elder whom Yunfan had met before. The second elder recognized that the 4 were all demigods. So many of you came at once. It seems that you have big plans. Kill him. The master has ordered to kill all the human race. The eyes of the 4 alien demigods were full of murderous intent. They were all servants of the Destruction Clan, controlled by special means, and dared not disobey the orders given to them by the Destruction Clan. They immediately attacked the second elder from different directions, but the second elder used the flame field to directly meet one of the alien demigods with wings on his back. Die for me. The demigod of that tribe held a huge axe and chopped down at him like a god of war who created the world. Whoosh. The field of fire flashed, and the alien demigod rolled and fell to the ground, holding his chest and twitching. His chest had been roasted by the raging fire. He was defeated in one encounter. As expected of the second elder, he is one of the few great powers among the human race. The seriously injured alien demigod shouted angrily. Just as he was shouting, a sword light pierced directly towards his chest, scaring the alien demigod so much that his face changed drastically, and he retreated violently. Endless flames descended, instantly suppressing the demigods. The sword light also made them feel the crisis. It seemed that someone with equal strength to them had rushed to rescue them. This made the 4 alien demigods look at each other with ugly faces. Who is this person who rushed to rescue? What a terrifying speed. His strength far exceeds that of any of us. If any of us face him, we may be killed directly. Everyone realized in an instant that, even if they rushed forward, they would probably be defeated. Boss, you are here. If I hadn't come, I'm afraid you wouldn't have been able to deal with the 4 of them. Boss, you are still so self-righteous. In that case, you should hold the line for me and see how I kill them all. The second elder seemed very unhappy. He always felt that his eldest brother looked down on him, so he often liked to contradict his eldest brother. At this time, the other alien races had also rushed over. Although their strength was not weak, they were still far inferior to the demigod level masters. The human race and the alien race had already fought in a group. Both sides had casualties, but it was not too serious. Soldiers versus soldiers, generals versus generals. Bloody killing. At this moment, one of the vampire demigod alien races instantly displayed his bloody domain. The powerful blood energy instantly filled the entire void, and he also turned into a huge bat at this moment. Anyone who approached him, whether human or alien, was sucked blood by his domain. At this moment, he was simply like the god of death who harvested lives. Arsehole, you dare to attack ordinary people. The face of the Great Elder was very ugly, and he turned into a meteor in an instant. Dragon sword skill. In an instant, the overwhelming sword energy and endless fighting spirit descended instantly, sweeping wildly in two directions. The Great Elder was already angry at this moment. Be careful. As if they felt the powerful power brought by the sword, many aliens couldn't help but suddenly warned. Although the vampire demigod killed many human beings, he also killed many aliens at the same time, so there was already space around him. The aliens shouted angrily. They seemed to have never thought that they would die at the hands of their companions, although that companion was much stronger than them. At the same time, a blood-colored armor soon appeared on the surface of the vampire demigod's body, trying to block the thunder attack. Chapter 529, Suppressing the Demigod. Boom boom. For a moment, the whole world seemed to move. Not far away, a foreign soldier had begun to rush out. These foreign soldiers seemed to have undergone special training, and were not afraid of death at all. Active puppets. The Elder's face changed. Looking at the foreign soldiers who were attacking from a distance, he recognized the identity of the other party at a glance. It turned out that they were puppet soldiers made from corpses. This method of refining puppets is very cruel. In order to ensure the flexibility of the puppets, living bodies are directly used for refining. These puppets are not simple. Each one has the strength of the 8th level. Although the strength cannot be improved again, how many people can break through the 8th level? Yunfan's vision is now very high, and he can naturally feel the strength of these so-called puppets. There are more than 10,000 active puppets coming from a distance, and more than 10 puppets wearing holy level clothes rushed out. Kill as many as you can. The human race resisted desperately, and each of them was already blood red. Yunfan knew that he could not let them do this. The disparity between the enemy and us was too great. The human race's manpower was being destroyed bit by bit. Yunfan summoned all the skeleton warriors in his undead world. Then he took out the Daoluo sword and the magic gun, and immediately rushed into the alien team like a rock. Those puppets were no longer real creatures. Most of them were level 8 and much slower than him. Die. Staying in this world is just painful. Let me send you to reincarnation as soon as possible. Yunfan never showed mercy to these cruel aliens. Form a battle formation. Tens of thousands of active puppets in all directions united every 6, standing like a hexagram. With their coherence, it was easy to form a battle formation, and even to attract the purest elemental power between heaven and earth. A demon shadow appeared faintly behind them. We also have to form a battle formation. Facing the aggressive active puppets of the alien race, a high-ranking member of the human race quickly issued an order. It's just that everyone has selfishness. When facing the torrent of alien puppets, they can't help but be a little frightened, so the battle they formed is less powerful than the aliens. The formation was just barely able to resist, and those who didn't form a formation were killed instantly. Demon slaughtering formation. Several powerful humans roared, and at the same time, their auras were connected to each other. Not good. The demigod level strongmen of the aliens had seen the power of the demon slaughtering formation. When the human race used this powerful battle formation again, their faces changed. If you want to support, the yin-yang Teikai diagram will crush them all. Yunfan didn't know when he had come to the front of the 4 demigod level strongmen, and in an instant, formed a huge Teikai diagram with a radius of more than 10 meters, covering one of them. The yin-yang Teikai diagram appeared out of thin air, a live fish and a water fish, rotating and crushing in opposite directions up and down. After this period of time, Yunfan's domain has become more perfect. After adding a trace of the law of fate, the domain has evolved again. Otherwise, he would not have attacked the demigod level alien. What kind of power did this kid use? Why is it so weird? He is only a saint. Why do I feel depressed when I meet him? The demigod alien surrounded by the huge Teikai diagram began to panic for no reason. Thank you, brother. Leave them to us old guys. You go to help others. At this time, the elder had also come to Yunfan. In his opinion, Yunfan's safety is the first priority, so he didn't want Yunfan to take risks and face the demigod level alien. Although he thinks Yunfan is very powerful at the same level, he doesn't think it can fight across levels. Okay. He understood the elder's thoughts very well, and then he nodded slightly and killed the surrounding alien active puppets. Crush the take-eye diagram for me. One of the alien active puppets was strangled to pieces. What kind of power is this kid using? Quick, kill him for me. One of the demigod level aliens ordered loudly. Although Yunfan's strength was not too high in his opinion, after seeing Yunfan, he always had an inexplicable uneasiness in his heart. It seemed that a voice was faintly telling him that this kid would definitely ruin your big plan. At this time, Yunfan took advantage of the victory again. The puppets present wanted to form a formation one by one, but Yunfan's water and fire take-eye diagram once again bloomed with her unprecedented power, and in an instant, the 6 puppets that formed the battle formation were trapped. At the moment when the water and fire take-eye diagram shone on the 6 people, 3 of them turned into ashes in an instant, and the other 3 were also completely consumed. This made everyone present couldn't help but be surprised. This method was too terrible. How could 6 active puppets be killed at the same time at such a long distance? And the attack power generated by this puppet is infinitely close to the peak of the holy level. Form a formation. Many human races have also reacted. They had all gone through a long period of training, and they had already developed a tacit understanding with each other. Totems suddenly appeared on their bodies, and at the same time, they attracted a large amount of ki, and connected them to form a whole. However, the active puppets of the alien races were not to be outdone. In a blink of an eye, the tamed demons were combined together in an instant, forming an even larger and more terrifying phantom. Yunfan also swung the Daoluo sword in his hand. Every time he swung it, a puppet of the alien race was killed, and as time went on, its speed became faster and faster. Yunfan's joining gave the human race some breathing space, but even so, blood had already flowed into rivers. War is like this, either you die or I die, and just one carelessness may cost you your life. Kill. As Yunfan killed, the evil spirit on his body became heavier and heavier, and the surer fighting spirit involuntarily started to operate again. This kind of fighting spirit that feeds fighting gave him a more sustained output, but at the same time it also made his temper more irritable and lost his original rationality. The demigod level masters of the alien races actually connected their auras with those active puppets during the battle. The first and second elders felt this change at the same time, and their faces changed. You can actually use the power of puppet warfare. Don't you think it's a little late to find out now? Chapter 530 Vampire Ancestor. Some can activate 100, some can activate 10. Although the maximum number of active puppets can be activated is 100, it is only a theory. Unless they turn themselves into puppets, he cannot become a part of them. These demigod level aliens cherish their lives, so how can they be willing to refine themselves into puppets? It's a pity for these active puppets. If they are our foundation, even demigods can kill them. Several guys from the Destruction clan hid aside and watched the demigods and active puppets join forces. Everyone must die. In the secret room deep at the bottom of the ancestral land, an old man holding a black scepter of destruction stood in front of an old man, and that old man was the ancestor of the human race. The ancestor of the human race was sitting cross-legged with a gloomy face. I didn't expect that you, the Destruction clan, still didn't give up and actually wanted to break my formation. The ancestor of the human race was anxious and angry. The old man holding the black scepter was surrounded by the black aura of destruction, and a bloody scepter was floating. A large number of undeads were howling silently and fighting crazily. This man was the leader of May and his group, who had successfully refined the scepter of destruction. The condition of the human race ancestor had recovered a lot, and he was trying to reinforce the seal. He never thought that the guy from the Destruction clan would plot against him when he had added the seal. The old guy from the Destruction clan wanted to refine this powerful scepter to turn the tables. After receiving the orders from the 3 generals and the 4 generals, he secretly came here to take advantage of the chaos to get information. He didn't expect that the ancestor of the human race would actually reinforce the seal there. He thought that, as long as the ancestor of the human race was killed, the voice of resistance from the ancestral land of the human race would inevitably weaken. This was a great achievement, so he took the risk of being discovered by the people of the ancestral land and suddenly took action. Reinforcing the seal is not an ordinary thing, because this seal is a god-level formation, involving the power of rules, so it will be extremely dangerous when reinforcing it, and it will be backfired if you are not careful. You must be careful. Even if you want to stop, you must isolate those rules from yourself before you can stop. If he went ahead forcefully, he would only be attacked. It would take time to stop, because he was afraid of traitors in the clan. Even if he had recovered some strength, only the great elders knew about it. So no one knew that he was here to reinforce the seal. When he was reinforcing the seal, he heard the chaos outside and decided to stop reinforcing the seal. However, he was still half a step slower and was ambushed by the guy from the destruction clan in front of him, causing considerable damage. Elder, the alien race is too powerful. An 8th level human man shouted anxiously. The eastern area has been completely defeated. What? After hearing the report from the 8th level human, the elders who were trying to hold back their anxiety were suddenly very anxious. How many people did they come? These human elders were already a little helpless. The alien powerhouses and active puppets in front of them suddenly vibrated, and they felt their pressure increasing. Not good. The elder suppressed his anxiety. He knew that if he failed, the demigods would counterattack. He would probably die here today. His death would not be a big deal. The entire human race would be doomed. A golden jade token appeared in the elder's hand. The token grew in the wind and fell to the ground with a bang. Feeling the powerful momentum brought by the golden jade token, the vampire demigods also changed their expressions and took out a black coffin from the space ring. There were countless strange runes engraved on the black coffin. The coffin lid was opened directly, and a frightening breath spread. A bloody hand grabbed the edge of the coffin lid and sat up. It was a monster with bloody eyes. The monster with bloody eyes fell to the ground, and the body was surrounded by bloody mist visible to the naked eye. The bloody mist was the blood energy used by the blood race. Even the saints would be turned into blood once they inhaled this bloody energy. This blood corpse is also one of the demigod's most powerful means. It is to use one of his ancestors to refine himself into a monster for eternal life. Please help me kill them, ancestor. The monster with blood eyes was refined alive by a special method. It retains many memories of its life, and this monster itself has a certain wisdom. This monster can judge some things through its blood energy, and naturally can quickly identify the situation and understand who the enemy is. This monster is already at the peak of demigod, and is very dangerous. In fact, he had planned it a long time ago. When he completely broke through the peak of demigod and reached the realm of gods, it would be the time of his resurrection. However, because this world has rules and does not allow existence beyond the demigod level, he can only maintain this state of neither human nor ghost. Well, the blood monster hummed and took a step out. With one leap, it jumped directly out of the nearly dozens of meters and attacked the elder directly. It was just after the close combat that the elder realized how powerful the opponent was. He knew that he could never be the opponent of this blood monster by himself. Damn it, the great elder and his men are being held back. What should we do? Many of the human race present were extremely anxious. Big brother, you must be careful. You must not die before me, the second elder said. He was the kind of person with a sharp tongue, but a soft heart. He wanted to stab others at any time, but he was kind at heart. Don't worry, old man. Even if you die, I will be fine. You still have time to bicker. Don't you see what's going on now? At this moment, a gloomy voice suddenly came over. As the voice came, the faces of the first and second elders were obviously happy, as if they had encountered something good. Old third, you are back. If I don't come back, do I have to clean up for you? A white-haired old man in black appeared in front of everyone. The old man was holding a staff in one hand and a long sword in the other, floating in the air. He himself seemed to be in the air, as if he could swallow everything. The blood-colored monster quickly looked at the old man with white hair and black clothes, and saw that around the old man with white hair and black clothes, black flames suddenly appeared. The black flames instantly pressed towards the blood-colored monster. Domain deification. The demigod level aliens present were all frightened. They didn't have such means, and they had only reached the peak of the demigod level. If we go up with that power, I'm afraid we will be easily killed. Chapter 531, The Three Elders at the Peak of Demigod. Old Third, I didn't expect you to be the first to break through to this realm. The few members of the Destruction clan hiding in the dark were shocked after seeing the power of the third elder of the human race. Everyone, let's leave here quickly. The third elder of the human race is too powerful. What if he finds us? One of the members of the Destruction clan said anxiously. But our master is still inside. If the master knows that we escaped, I'm afraid we can't help much if we stay here. Yes, let's go quickly, it's too late. Another member of the Destruction clan also said hoarsely. These guys of the Destruction clan are all old hands, and they know very well that ordinary human races hate them. Once the other party is free, what will happen? Sure enough, here's a person who has broken through to the peak of the demigod. The power around the three elders has become substantial, and has formed a formation to form a series of fire dragon phantoms. They can only peek at part of it, but they are also shocked. The third elder's eyes are red at this moment, and the power around him is even more violent. Kill. The third elder of the human race looked at the blood-colored monster in front of him, and used his strongest killing move without hesitation. The sky and the earth were instantly surrounded by black flames, as if they were messengers from hell. Countless black flame mimicry creatures appeared out of thin air around the third elder. Each mimicry creature had an unparalleled aura, and also stirred up the laws of the land. Now the third elder has reached another realm. If it were not for the existence of the world's laws, he could have ignited the divine fire. Even so, he could already use a little bit of the rules between heaven and earth, and he also understood some mysteries, and knew how to take advantage of the situation. What is that? What are those things around the third elder? And why can he summon so many at once? All the human race masters present were a little confused, because most of them have not yet reached the saint level, and naturally know very little about the demigod level. Seeing hundreds of strange things floating, they were almost at a loss in an instant. Could it be that the third elder has become a god? How could they know that there are restrictions in the laws of this world, and it is absolutely not allowed to exceed the level of demigods? No matter how strong he is still a demigod, but his spiritual level is very high, and he has reached the level of gods to achieve this step. This is already the realm of gods. Almost everyone present had this thought at the same time. Die. The third elder of the human race instantly controlled the objects in front of him, and directly broke their battle formation. Eternal life in blazing fire. Whoosh. A black flame immediately drew an extremely beautiful curve, leaving a sad and beautiful trajectory in the air, and easily penetrated the chest of the vampire demigod, and the vampire demigod opened his eyes in disbelief. So strong. Is this the peak of demigods? Even if he died, he couldn't believe it. No. Another werewolf demigod of the same clan not far from him just shouted, and was directly burned to ashes by the black flames. These half-god level alien races, because they have their own thoughts, naturally cannot exert the full power of war. These powers gathered together can definitely reach the power of gods, but now they are greatly discounted. As the saying goes, a defeat is like a mountain collapsing. After a local half-god level clan was killed, the people of the human race were greatly encouraged. With the second half-god of the alien race being killed, the whole ancestral land was boiling. The third elder couldn't help but breathe a long sigh of relief at this moment. Fortunately, the opponent could not exert the full power of the battle formation. Otherwise, even if he didn't die, he would be very tired and face siege. Fortunately, his guess was correct. With the momentum of thunder and lightning, he achieved a staged victory. Long live the third elder. Long live the third elder. A wisp of black flame drew a graceful curve and pierced through the chest of another half-god level strongman. At this moment, the whole ancestral land was boiling. As the screams resounded throughout the ancestral land, the resentment and unwillingness of the human race disappeared completely, and at the same time, they saw the dawn of victory. Those few demigod level aliens who came to kill them, they didn't expect that the third elder of the human race was so powerful that they were enemies with the existence of the peak of demigods. How could they do it? If they had known, they would not have come out at all. The first elder and the second elder who were not far away were stunned. Their third brother had far surpassed them. A black fire swept across the 4 directions. It was a completely different level of power, just like killing a chicken. In fact, they didn't know that the power in the third elder's body had been exhausted. Even ordinary people could have killed him. However, because his appearance was too shocking, 3 demigods had died in his hands in a blink of an eye, so no one dared to approach him again, and he also got a chance to breathe. It's so powerful, I'm afraid he can deal with these aliens alone. Yunfan couldn't help but mutter to himself. You probably think too highly of him. Sakadan's disdainful voice sounded in Yunfan's heart. He is just an embroidered pillow now. On the surface, he looks very powerful. An ordinary person can easily kill him. Yunfan's current strength is already very high, but in terms of vision, he is still slightly inferior to Sakadan. Now everyone present is also confused. Although some people are far away from the third elder, they can't see the third elder from their angle, but they can see a large number of active puppets outside through the crowd. They saw with their own eyes that those active puppets were easily burned by a black flame and turned into ashes one by one. And the remaining active puppets were actually terrified and seemed to want to escape from here. How can you reach the peak of demigod? The only remaining demigod level alien was confused at this moment. In their impression, there is no peak demigod, except the ancestor of the human race. Although the peak of the demigod is a demigod, it is already very different from the ordinary demigod. This is why the human race has always shown weakness, and has not been destroyed by other alien races. Having a peak demigod is like having an atomic bomb on Earth, which is an incomparable deterrent. I never thought that Ziosan would be so ambitious and become the first to reach the peak of demigod. The human race ancestor showed an excited look in the cave. Chapter 532, Feint to the east and attack in the west. The black-robed destroyer standing opposite him had a very ugly expression on his face. I never thought that another demigod peak powerhouse would appear in your human race. In this case, won't my plan go down the drain? Why are you destroyer clan so persistent? Isn't this world good? Why do you want to destroy the whole world? The ancestor of the human race sat cross-legged. What do you know? This world has long been rotten. There is no rebirth without destruction. Only by completely destroying this dirty world can we usher in the rebirth of this world. The black-robed destroyer clan said excitedly. It's simply unreasonable. The face of the human race ancestor was very ugly. Your plan will never succeed. Old man, I will stop you, even if I risk my life. Just because your mother is a dying old guy, after suffering the backlash of the rules, you can still use some strength. If it was you in your prime, I would really be afraid of you. How about we make a bet? If you and I can block my attack, I will tell you our plan. The black robe of the destruction clan showed a smile on his pale face, and the smile was very strange. Do you think I will believe you? A bunch of nonsense? The human race ancestor curled his lips and looked at the other party like an idiot. Is the human race ancestor afraid? You don't have to use such a clumsy method to test. The human race ancestor shook his head slightly. Use whatever means you have. The old man of the black robe of the destruction clan saw that his conspiracy did not succeed, and he felt a little frustrated. Just when he attacked, he found that the condition of the human race ancestor seemed different from the legend. According to rumors, it is impossible to use a single bit of strength after suffering the injury of the rules. But in the brief fight just now, he felt that the opponent's strength was not inferior to his own. That's why he wanted to lead the ancestor of the human race out. And at this moment, bang, a blood shadow instantly jumped towards the third elder. That figure was the ancestor of the vampire clan. His speed was very amazing, because he had seen that the strength of the third elder of the human race had declined sharply, and he should not have much combat power. Old third, you must be careful. The eldest elder shouted anxiously. He grew up with the third elder since he was a child, and he had already known some of the habits of the 3 elders. He vaguely felt that there was not much strength left in his third brother's body. At this time, the puppets closest to the third elder were unable to resist the corrosive blood mist around the blood-colored monster. They were quickly invaded by the blood mist and turned into a pool of water. The ancestor of the blood-colored monster vampire clan had already taken a step forward and was about to come to the front of the third elder. Fuck. The third elder originally thought that he could scare the other party away with his acting skills, but he didn't expect that the other party didn't act according to his script and came directly to kill him. This frightened him. "Big brother, come and save me quickly, I'm fucking exhausted now." The third elder of the human race had just broken through to the peak of the demigod. He didn't expect that he would consume so much energy by using his trump card. He was very happy to see the 3 demigods killed by him, but after pretending to be cool, he found that the fighting spirit in his body was not strong enough. The blood-colored monster that attacked him was also infinitely close to the peak of the demigod. "Fuck you, kid, you are pretending again." A roar sounded, and a fiery red dragon rushed towards the blood-colored monster in the distance. The second elder only realized now that his brother was bluffing. When he was a child, he used this method to deceive himself more than once, but this time he didn't succeed in deceiving the alien race. The red fire dragon and the blood-colored monster collided with each other, generating an extremely powerful shockwave that directly rushed the third elder out. This is a duel between demigod-level strongmen. Yunfan used his fighting spirit to create a protective shield around him, and then drew an arc to avoid it. Many puppets also fell to the ground with a bang, causing deep pits to appear on the entire ground. Yunfan's face changed. "It seems that I still underestimated this demigod-level strongman." The blood-colored monster, the ancestor of the vampire clan, stared at the second elder, and blood-colored mist surrounded his body. "Second elder, you must be more careful." The third elder walked out of a ruin and staggered and shouted, "You old boy, you should think about how to survive." Looking at the blood-colored monster not far away from him, Yunfan's mind became active, and the Daoluo sword was also tightly grasped in his hand. He had a vague feeling that the Daoluo sword in his hand should restrain the blood-colored monster in front of him. Yunfan decided to take this opportunity to gamble. He completely concealed his breath, and then slowly moved closer to the blood-colored monster. At this moment, he suddenly launched an attack, and the speed was not inferior to that of the peak saint level. When the Daoluo divine sword was about to penetrate the blood-colored monster seemed to sense something, and suddenly turned around, and then stretched out its blood-clogged claws, as if trying to grab the Daoluo divine sword. The Daoluo divine sword seemed to be enraged, and it burst into an unprecedented light. Although Yunfan cut off the monster's blood-colored claws, he was also rushed dozens of meters away by the powerful impact, and fell directly to the ground. This guy is so powerful and so fast. Yunfan was shocked. Only by facing this demigod monster in person could he know how powerful this demigod is. Looking at his bloody claws that were cut off, the bloody monster's eyes were full of disbelief. In his eyes, as long as he did not reach the semi-god level, he was like an ant. He never thought that Yunfan, a small ant, would cause such harm to him. After losing a claw, his own strength dropped by 30%. Moreover, he felt a kind of power coming from the long sword, which seemed to suppress his blood energy faintly, making him unable to repair his body. "Ah, damn ant. I must cut you into pieces." The bloody monster stared directly at Yunfan and suddenly attacked him directly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Yunfan's feet were like a ghost, dodging again and again. Although the avoidance was quite difficult, he was still able to avoid it. Occasionally, the Daoluo sword in his hand also stabbed the bloody monster, but only left a blood mark, and it was not able to directly break the defense. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 533 Difficult. This guy is strong, fast, and extremely tough. It's really not easy to get rid of him. Yunfan found out, as soon as they fought, that the opponent's strength far exceeded his own. He had to kill him while he was weak. He had cut off one of the claws of this blood-colored monster, and its strength had been greatly reduced. This was a great opportunity. Whoosh. A world away. Yunfan had now mastered the rules very well. He took strange steps and drew a curve to avoid the blood-colored monster. The blood-colored monster howled and wanted to chase Yunfan, but Yunfan who used the yin yang bagua step, was not slower than him. Little brother G, you must be careful. Damn little ant. A cold and sharp voice suddenly came from the blood-colored monster. At this moment, the blood-colored monster had long hair and a pale face. His blood-colored eyes frightened him more than before. The blood-colored monster glanced around and looked at the Daoluo sword in Ji Yunfan's hand. His face changed instantly, as if he thought of something that frightened him. Daoluo sword. You are the descendant of the Sword God clan. How could the damn Sword God clan appear in this world? If it weren't for that guy from the Sword God clan, I wouldn't have become this ghost. The blood-colored monster stared at Ji Yunfan fiercely, his eyes full of coldness. My son and servant were burned to death by that man. I have continued to use my power for so long just to get revenge. Since that person is gone, then you pay for him. I will let you taste the torture of your soul. Countless blood-colored figures suddenly appeared around the blood-colored monster. They were countless human heads, and countless resentful souls were shouting in fear. What exactly are you now? Ji Yunfan was a little curious about the monster in front of him. His current form seemed to be somewhat similar to that of the Destruction clan, but not exactly the same. He was full of resentment. Do you feel the powerful force in me? How about joining me and becoming a part of me? The blood-colored monster said again in a buzzing voice. To be honest, he was really afraid of Ji Yunfan, the little guy. The guy from the Sword God clan might have some trump cards. When he was young, he looked down on that guy from the Sword God clan and ended up like this. He is now in a sleeping state most of the time. Suddenly, a blood-colored bat appeared under the feet of the blood-colored monster who was originally standing there, and then hundreds of bats flew out from his body, as if they wanted to devour Ji Yunfan directly. Ji Yunfan did not dare to neglect it at all, and ran quickly to distance himself from the blood-colored monster. Professionals are also divided into different categories. Warriors prefer close combat, while mages and others like to keep a distance and then use their methods. After all, it is very dangerous to get too close. Like the blood-colored monster in front of Ji Yunfan, it was a warrior with a very strong body, but that was not all of these monsters. Ji Yunfan felt that this monster was like him, practicing both magic and fighting skills, and its melee ability was not weak. With a swish, the monster naturally could not let Ji Yunfan leave, and a blood-colored claw attacked Ji Yunfan from behind. Ji Yunfan quickly circulated the fighting spirit in his body, and his body was like a flexible monkey that drew an arc in the void and immediately dodged. The sharp blade produced by the blood-colored claws almost instantly cut the ground, and the blood-colored monster seemed to be crazy and roared, and chased Ji Yunfan. MMP. Why is this monster so difficult? Ji Yunfan dodged the blood-colored monster, while muttering in his heart, and was also surrounded by colorful brilliance. Under Ji Yunfan's control, the Daoluo sword suddenly produced colorful divine light. No, we must not let Brother G get into trouble, otherwise, no one will treat the ancestors' injuries. The elder secretly made up his mind to protect Ji Yunfan. After a series of fights, Ji Yunfan found that his strength was much worse than that of the opponent. Sure enough, I shouldn't force it at all. Only by taking advantage of the situation can I play my own advantages. At this moment, Ji Yunfan was obviously much more relaxed, and in Ji Yunfan's continuous fights, he became more and more agile in controlling his own strength. Damn boy, why is this guy giving me more and more pressure? Is the Sword God clan really so perverted? The blood-colored monster standing not far away paused slightly, and his face gradually became ugly. I can actually use the power of the domain, and even mixed with some of the power of the origin rules. Roar. A low roar came from the blood-colored monster's mouth. His mood has become a little anxious and impetuous. He chased Ji Yunfan again and again, but he was dodged again and again. Ji Yunfan relied on flexible positioning to dodge again and again. In the life and death battle, he must make better use of his advantages. Even without fighting, one could feel the endless power and indestructible body of this blood-colored monster. It would be foolish to fight it head-on. Ji Yunfan naturally understood. Water and fire take-eye diagram. Sealing demon sword technique. Ji Yunfan kept controlling the water and fire and the two elemental forces around him, and a fire dragon and a water dragon were suspended around him. He was becoming more and more proficient in controlling the two forces of water and fire. Kill. The elder and the second elder not far away suddenly had a sharp light in their eyes, looking at the blood-colored monster in the distance, and almost attacked at the same time. The sword light that was condensed in front of the elder instantly flew out in a breath, as fast as lightning, leaving only a faint track in the air, and then stabbed directly into the forehead of the blood-colored monster in the distance. A blood-colored fork suddenly appeared in the hand of the blood-colored monster, and the blood-colored fork was like the trident from the sea god Poseidon. Seeing the great elder attacking, the trident instantly burst into a dazzling blood-red light, and went towards the sword light. Whether it was the sword light released by the great elder or the blood-red light released by the blood-red monster, they all carried endless power. Swish, swish, swish. The two lights actually began to melt a little in an instant. Not good. The great elder's face changed. Seeing his sword light fade away, there was still a large ball of blood-red light left. He felt a little worried in his heart. He quickly controlled the long sword in his hand to emit a sword light this time, to resist the blood-red light that was pulled in. At the same time, the long sword in his hand also emitted light, which weakened layer by layer again, and offset it crazily. Chapter 534. Another attack. The sword light was completely consumed before it even touched the blood-colored monster. This made the person in the distance change his expression. The moves he used had already exerted its own strength to the greatest extent. It could be said that it had exceeded its own strength. The power was definitely not small, but even if it was a demigod at the peak, it should not be able to block it so easily. It is indeed a demigod at the peak. The elder looked at the blood-colored monster with a ferocious look and shouted, "It can survive in this form and kill many of my human race." Suddenly, a blood-colored gourd-like object appeared in the hand of the blood-colored monster. At the same time, it quickly grew larger and became a foot high. Then, the blood-colored monster opened the seal on it. Then, blood-colored bats flew out from it one by one, making a buzzing sound. In a blink of an eye, a large number of bats covered the sky and rushed directly to the elder and Yunfan. Blood bats. The elder and the others were shocked. They saw that a ray of indestructible Dao-Ki sword light had condensed in front of the elder. Kill. The elder's Dao-Ki sword light flew out of the air and slashed directly at the dense group of blood bats flying over. There was only a hissing sound. The Dao-Ki sword light instantly killed hundreds of bats. After killing hundreds of bats, the Dao-Ki sword light had consumed more than half of it. The power of the Dao-Ki sword light was weakened a lot. Then it slashed through some blood bats. After killing about 150 blood bats, the power of the Dao-Ki sword light was extremely weak. Everyone present also launched an attack together. Among the crowd, especially Yunfan and the second elder, the two of them solved most of the blood bats. This won't work. God knows how many blood bats he has stored in this gut. Yunfan controlled the Daoluo sword to attack, while considering other countermeasures. He is not weak now, but the others around him can't. Moreover, his domain consumed too much elemental power and could not be opened for a long time. After several battles, Yunfan only had 60% to 70% of the elemental power and fighting spirit in his body, and the blood bats released by the opponent were increasing. Even if his fighting spirit and mental power were all exhausted, he might not be able to kill all the blood-colored bats. "I will definitely kill you, kid. The undefeated sword god family is just a joke." The blood-colored monster looked at Yunfan. Yin-Yang Teikai diagram. Feeling the blood-colored bats coming to kill him again, Yunfan shouted and saw the Teikai Yin-Yang Bagua appear around him again. The two fishes of water and fire quickly closed up and rotated to protect Yunfan in them. Fire domain. At the same time, the second elder also opened his domain, and endless flames burned up and gathered into a long dragon of flames in the air. Each dragon of flames is composed of fire element. Like the Vajradharma protectors, they stood on his left and right. Because the blood-colored bats attacked and killed him, Yunfan did not dare to relax at all. Hua hua hua. Countless blood-colored bats finally enveloped Yunfan and drilled into Yunfan frantically, easily breaking through the outermost layer of defense. The water and fire Teikai diagram around Yunfan rotated faster. When a large number of blood-colored bats drilled in, many of them died one by one under the strangulation of the yin-yang force generated by the Teikai Bagua diagram. However, the blood-colored bats in the gourd seemed endless. After some were strangled, they were replenished very quickly. Then, the replenished blood-colored bats quickly gathered together, as if they would not give up until the yin-yang Teikai diagram was broken. He uses the power of the domain in such a meticulous way. Even an ordinary demigod might not be able to do it like him. Is this what people often call talent? The Great Elder and others in the distance couldn't help but exclaimed as they watched Yunfan's every move. The blood-colored bats seemed endless, but they were not. The blood-colored monster had spent a long time to cultivate them. He had spent a lot of effort on them. Now it was impossible not to feel sad when he saw the blood-colored bats dying one by one. However, at the same time, he was also very shocked. You have to know that he had only mastered the basics of the domain power at his level. Who did this kid learn this method from? How could he know? Yunfan had figured out the method of using the domain by himself. These blood-colored bats are so corrosive. They can actually corrode my water and fire Teikai diagram. Yunfan held the Daoluo sword and waved it frantically, trying to kill the blood-colored bats that were close to him. These blood-colored bats were also very difficult to destroy. The ordinary humans not far away were in a miserable situation. Just after resisting a few, a blood-colored bat bit his body. The terrifying thing about this blood-colored bat was that it could suck blood. Everything it bit would lose blood quickly, die. Everyone tried to kill the blood-sucking bats that were close to them. Yunfan's Daoluo sword was like a madman, beheading those blood-colored bats one by one. Although those bats had been beheaded by them, the wounds bitten by those blood-colored bats were still bleeding. Because these bats contained toxins, many of the human races whose blood was sucked by them had already shown signs of poisoning, and their strength was greatly reduced. I can't go on like this. Although I have the King Emperor's fighting spirit to recover, which is much stronger than ordinary people, there are too many blood-colored bats. I will eventually die of exhaustion. Yunfan was also very anxious now. These blood-colored bats were released by the blood-colored monster. I'm afraid that only by killing this blood-colored monster can we get through this difficult time. At the same time, the first elder and the second elder seemed to have thought of this. They looked at each other and showed all their strength at the same time. In the blazing fire field, a large number of blood-colored bats were burned to death, and those flame fields slowly spread out, as if they would not stop, until they swallowed the blood-colored monster. And the first elder didn't care about much, and was ready to fight to the death. Damn bastards. The human race's hunting field actually has a restraining effect on my blood-colored bats. The blood-colored monster couldn't wait any longer. His face was full of anger. The longer it drags on, the less good it will do me. If I give them a chance, I might really be killed by them together. The blood-colored monster flipped his hand, and a blood-colored sword suddenly appeared. The blood-colored sword was surrounded by a layer of bloodlight, which was the materialized blood energy. Chapter 535 The Power of Destiny. As soon as the blood-colored longsword appeared, the surrounding world seemed to be shrouded in blood. You go to hell. The blood-colored monster took the blood-colored longsword and swung it directly. Blood race monster, die. The elder also roared, after breaking the blood-colored bats around him, and the blood-colored monster suddenly cut back with the long sword in his hand, and those who hurt me also floated up, and burst out with unprecedented blood-killing aura. Yunfan had never killed a demigod-level strongman. When he was in the Lazelic plane, killing the peak of the saint rank had reached his limit. However, since he got a part of the power of rules, Yunfan felt that his domain was more perfect, and it was easy to use. He felt that, although it was difficult to kill the demigod level existence, he had the possibility of success. I must succeed. I must surpass my limit. Otherwise, if I retreat every time I encounter a crisis, I may not be able to stand at the top of this continent. Yunfan tried his best to control it, and saw the water, fire, yin and yang Teikai diagram floating around, and the perfect domain was released by him, slowly spreading towards the blood-colored monster. Yunfan tried his best to control his mental power, while the others gradually led. At the beginning, his domain was still a little unstable, but as time went on, everything seemed to be different. It's done. Although Yunfan still had to resist the invasion of those blood-colored bats and even face the sudden attack of the blood-colored monster, his domain had already spread over and changed the rules around the blood-colored monster. What's going on with you? The blood-colored monster felt the changes in the rules around it and couldn't help but frown slightly. Could this kid change the rules around him? This is absolutely impossible. Unless the gods have this ability. The blood-colored monster quickly denied his opinion. Kill. Yunfan stared at the blood-colored monster not far away frantically and launched an attack directly. The power of the domain rules condensed to the extreme around Yunfan. The extremely sharp power of the rules, accompanied by the Daoluo sword, instantly emanated from Yunfan, like a meteor, across the sky, and directly attacked the blood-colored monster with irresistible momentum. The blood-colored monster seemed to feel the existence of the crisis and couldn't help but use the prejudice in his hand to resist. Die. As the blood-colored monster counterattacked, the surrounding world was all filled with blood. More powerful blood-colored bats flew out one after another. These blood-colored bats were very different from ordinary bats. They were all bats that had fought with the strong and devoured their flesh and blood. After being nourished by the flesh and blood of the strong, they became more powerful adults. Although it is not perfect, it is also extraordinary. This blood-colored monster, with these blood bats, is enough to look down on most demigod-level existences. Countless blood-colored bats were extremely ferocious, making piercing cries. They crossed each other and flew towards Yunfan at a very fast speed. Seeing this situation, even the Great Elder was a little terrified and wanted to save Yunfan's safety. However, its speed was still a little slower, and those mutated blood-colored bats had already come to Yunfan. The Daoluo sword in Yunfan's hand drew a perfect arc in the air, and then countless Dao keyblades were left in the air, and there was a phenomenon of stagnation. However, this blood-colored bat was much stronger than the ones at the beginning, and it penetrated the Dao keyblades left by Yunfan in the air. The speed of the demigod-level strongman was too fast, and Yunfan's speed could barely block the opponent's attack. Dang dang. The Daoluo sword and the blood-colored longsword collided with each other, and the weapons in the hands of the two were slightly shaken. The power of the blood-colored light suddenly weakened a lot, and then when it hit Yunfan, it barely caused minor damage. Sure enough, it's worthy of being a demigod monster. It almost pierced my body and took my life. Yunfan was also shocked. The challenge of fighting across levels is a matter of life and death. If you are not careful, you will lose your life. Humph, kid, although you are weird, you are just a saint-level existence. Now you are stabbed by my blood sword and you will definitely die. The blood-colored monster was very confident that, even if he was stabbed by the blood sword, he would die. Yunfan looked at the blood sword stabbing in the air and the dense blood bats whistling and flying. His face changed. It was really strong and not easy to stop. Countless blood bats came again and drowned Yunfan in an instant, and they attacked madly. Go to hell. Go to hell. The blood monster in the distance laughed fiercely. He was confident that Yunfan would be killed by him. But then his face changed because the blood sword in his hand actually sent a very powerful force. Then the blood sword began to tremble. The violent aura of the blood sword was also constantly weakening. Obviously, the power was constantly decreasing. What's going on? How could this happen? With a crisp sound, a crack appeared on the blood sword and spread. The blood monster's face changed greatly. This blood sword is a divine weapon. It has always been invincible for him. But now the blood sword's aura is constantly weakening, and cracks have appeared. This means that this artifact is probably going to be destroyed. A large part of his power comes from the blood sword, and he even relies on the blood sword to complete the current transformation. How is it possible? How could a divine weapon be destroyed? The blood sword is a divine weapon full of fierceness. All weapons and other objects cannot stop it. Even a holy artifact will be corroded. Could it be that this sword is really the Daoluo sword? The bloody monster couldn't believe it. Even if it was a divine weapon, his blood sword dared to confront it head on. He always thought that the Daoluo sword in Yunfan's hand was just a replica. The water and fire Takai diagram around Yunfan rotated faster, and it crushed the bloody monster directly with the power of rules. Although it seems that Yunfan has a considerable advantage now, he has just broken through the saint level, and the power he can mobilize is a little worse than that of the opponent. What should I do? Yunfan was thinking about the countermeasures in his mind. Countless bloody bats rushed over, and he was a little scared deep in his heart. The power of destiny. Yunfan thought of the power of the rules of destiny at the first time. Yunfan saw a colorful river appear in his spiritual sea of consciousness. Yunfan himself stood on the river. Many picture tracks appeared in the river. It seemed that each picture was a different future, and he himself stood there, as if it was eternal. Even the passage of time could not erase any of it. He stood there like a god who could see through everything. Chapter 536. Little Bat. At this moment, one of the messy pictures caught his attention. It was the cave where he treated the ancestor of the human race. The ancestor of the human race was dying in the cave. A pitch black monster roared and flew out of the seal. No one could stop it. Then the entire ancestral land of the human race turned into ruins. The picture was not long and unstable, and was soon replaced by other pictures. Alien attack, messy pictures. Yunfan suddenly thought of something, and his face changed drastically, and he raised his strength to the extreme. A powerful light suddenly bloomed around Yunfan again, and the blood-colored bats were purified in an instant. Yunfan's power was extremely special. Even if he didn't exert his extreme power with his water and fire Takai diagram, these blood-colored bats couldn't get close to him. But that should take some time. The picture in the river of fate made him panic. In order to solve the dilemma as soon as possible, he couldn't help but exert his power to the extreme. It's slow, but in fact, it's just a moment. All this was done in an instant. Yunfan no longer had any fear at this moment. Those blood-colored bats could no longer pose any threat to him. Instead, he stared at the blood-colored monster in the distance and roared, "Kill." Then the Green Emperor's Daoki sword light shot out, followed by another Daoki sword light. Both of them slashed at the blood-colored monster in the distance. These two swords carried all of Yunfan's strength, and it was probably difficult for him to use the remaining strength. How is it possible? How is it possible? Your strength, how, is so strong? The blood-colored monster was still in disbelief with the blood sword in his hand. When he saw the Green Emperor's Daoki sword light cut through the defense around him, the blood-colored monster was startled and wanted to escape. The blood-colored monster fled in panic and tried his best to resist, and also waved the blood sword in his hand to resist, but just after barely blocking the first attack, the blood sword was actually cut in half by the Daoluo sword, and the Daoki sword light drew an arc and pierced his body directly from the side. Puff. The Daoki sword light instantly penetrated his chest, and a hole appeared in the chest of the blood-colored monster, directly cutting his body. Impossible. The blood monster still had an expression of disbelief on his face. The blood clan demigod in the distance also stopped, his eyes full of disbelief. His ancestor actually died like this. Yunfan then put away the Daoluo sword, with a look of disappointment and a hint of disbelief in his eyes. I killed a demigod. And this demigod is not an ordinary demigod. How is it possible? Just then, the body of the blood monster began to fall, and suddenly a blood light flew out of his body when it fell. With Yunfan's eyesight, he could see at a glance, it was a blood-colored little bat. What is that? How could a bat fly out of that blood-colored monster? A little bat actually flew out of the blood-colored monster's body. Yunfan was shocked and puzzled, and at the same time, felt that something was wrong. He felt that he could not let the little bat in front of him fly away, otherwise something bad would definitely happen in the future. But the power in his body had been almost consumed, and he could not release powerful moves again. Suddenly, an orange flame burst out from the second elder's body, growing from small to large like the sun. Countless flames surged like a river of fire, and landed directly on the fleeing little bat. The little bat seemed to be in a panic, and flew quickly to escape, but the second elder would not give him this opportunity. The little bat was even more panicked and cried out, "Stop, spare my life." The orange flame burned violently and instantly turned the little bat into ashes. After the flame turned the little bat into ashes, it also disappeared without a trace, and the whole world seemed to return to its normal state. That thing. Yunfan stood there with a puzzled look on his face. "You are too careless." The second elder breathed a sigh of relief. "We worked hard to kill the ancestor of the vampire clan, but he almost escaped with his blood servants. The vampire clan is good at raising bats in captivity. These bats can be regarded as their clones. To kill him, we must kill his blood servants. Otherwise, if he escapes, he will attach himself to other people, and will soon recover his original strength." By then, you may not be his opponent. Yunfan understood that this time it was really thanks to the second elder. Otherwise, there was no telling what kind of trouble he might cause in the future. He immediately thanked him. Thank you very much, second elder. You don't have to thank me. I owe you for sparing Simon's life. This time I'll consider it as my repayment of your favor. The second elder shook his head with a smile on his face, and I didn't expect to witness such a good show with my own eyes. A master who is only in the holy domain can actually kill a demigod level master. The second elder sighed. No wonder the boss thinks so highly of you. Maybe in a short time, you can surpass me. Haha, if you can surpass me, I will be relieved. At the same time, the second elder's face was full of helplessness. A person's strength cannot be seen from the surface. Some geniuses can challenge beyond their level. The second elder became more and more curious about Yunfan's identity. While fighting with the bloody monster, he was also observing, especially when Yunfan unfolded his own domain. He looked more carefully. The so-called bystander sees more clearly. The second elder found some problems. Yunfan's power is very strange. This time when he looked at Yunfan, his expression was full of admiration. Your fighting swordsmanship is very mysterious. It should have reached the realm of rules. Even I cannot use this power. If you are a demigod, and then launch an attack with the power of rules, I'm afraid you can kill it directly. Yunfan nodded slightly at first, and then his face became serious. Second elder, now is not the time to talk about this. Let's kill the invading enemy first. I'm afraid the ancestor has encountered trouble. What? The ancestor has encountered trouble. After hearing Yunfan's words, the great elder's face suddenly changed and then became very serious. Brother G, are you sure something really happened to the ancestor? How can I be sure of such a thing? But I think this alien attack is not as simple as we see on the surface. And have you forgotten, how was the ancestor injured? Yunfan did not directly say what he saw in the long river of fate. Even if he said it, others might not believe it. Everyone in the tribe, listen up to my order and kill the invading enemy with all your strength. Boss, tell me what is going on. The face of the third elder not far away changed slightly. Chapter 537 for the human race. What happened to the ancestor's injury? If I hadn't heard that our ancestor was in trouble while traveling, I wouldn't have come back so early. How about we talk about it after we solve the current problem? The elder said in a serious tone. At this moment, the third elder had also recovered a little. Without the bloody monster, the invading enemies of the alien race were quickly defeated. Yunfan, the elder and others hurried to the ancestor's place, but just when they arrived in front of the ancestor's door, they heard a sound of fighting coming from inside. Everyone present was pale. You know, the ancestors of the human race have always been gods in their minds. If something really happened to the ancestors of the human race, I'm afraid the entire human race will collapse. Several people walked into the cave, where the ancestor was without the ancestor's permission. Just after entering the cave, black fog shrouded everything. Yunfan and others stood on the edge of the black fog and looked outside. Everyone was heavy in their hearts. Who caused such a situation? Everyone. The great elder looked at everyone with a fiery gaze. Everything is for the human race. We must save the ancestor. For the human race. The second and third elders responded solemnly. I will go in first, and everyone will act according to the situation. The great elder said. The great elder led the group to enter the cave filled with black fog carefully. As the initiator of this event, Yunfan would naturally not stay out of it. In this way, everyone who entered was above the saint level. The black fog contains a lot of destructive energy. The dozen people quickly and carefully explored it. As soon as they entered the endless and thick black fog, everyone must be careful of the sneak attack of the destruction clan. The great elder said solemnly to everyone. In the black fog, they felt the destructive energy in it, and their moods became solemn. They all held their breath and were cautious, fearing that the terrible destruction clan would suddenly attack from the black fog. They have all fought with the destruction clan. They all understand that, even if they disdain their thoughts, they cannot despise any destruction clan when they are really fighting for life and death. The thick black fog and destructive aura around made it impossible for the elders and others to see far away. They didn't know that a pitch black python was lying not far away, watching them. Unfortunately, they couldn't see it. This is also the reason why the Destruction Clan displayed the destructive aura. I didn't expect someone to find the problem so early. Damn. Will this affect the adult's plan? The python passed through the black fog formed by the destructive aura, and the black fog not far away faintly condensed into 10 human figures. Because they could use the destructive aura, he could understand the location and approximate distance of these people through the black fog. This python actually has a high IQ. This black fog is actually a special field released by the Destruction Scepter. The Destruction Clan in this black fog can get a great increase. After the transformation of the destructive aura, this python actually belongs to the Destruction Clan. Naturally, it can also use the power in the black fog. He feels that his strength has skyrocketed. Grand Elder, don't worry, it's too weird here. Yunfan's voice sounded in the ears of the Great Elder. Don't worry, I'm not young like you, so I know how powerful it is. Not far from the Destruction Python, he could sense the situation in the black fog. The black fog was like his eyes, but it was a fatal barrier to Yunfan and the others. These human guys are very cautious now. The Destruction Python stared at Yunfan and others in the black fog. There are more than a dozen guys above the saint level. I'm afraid that a sneak attack now will not be very effective, and it may also expose my existence. I just need to stop them now. The master will deal with the old guy of the human race in a while. I will definitely make them suffer. The Destruction Python was waiting for his master to appear, and then he would show his fangs. Something seems to be wrong. This is when he lands, stopping us from moving forward. The elders and others soon discovered their current situation. Let me try, Yunfan suddenly said. Then Yunfan spread his domain. As Yunfan's domain spread, he soon discovered the situation in the black fog. He never thought that there was a python coiled not far away, and his face changed. He quickly reacted and slashed a sword directly at the python. The Destruction Python was originally very pleased with himself, but he never expected this sudden change. He didn't understand how Yunfan saw him, but he felt a lot of pressure from the Daoluo sword in Yunfan's hand, as if the sword was specifically designed to restrain its existence, or rather, to restrain the existence of the Destruction Clan. The python felt the power of breaking through the air and instinctively chose to escape. The destruction key he used was very high-end, one level higher than that of Wu Yu and others, and he was considered a 4th generation of the Destruction Clan. After barely dodging Yunfan's attack, his brutal emotions were completely drawn out by Yunfan's attack. Because the activity space was not large, some of his usual methods could not be used. The python opened its bloody mouth and directly spit out a ball of destruction composed of destruction key. The black fog composed of the destructive energy is actually similar to the domain, but he uses a higher level of destructive energy than the elemental power. Although Yunfan's domain is magical and can restrain the elemental domain, it cannot be directly used for its own use in the face of the black fog similar to the domain, composed of the destructive power. Even so, these black fogs can no longer play a big role for him. Yunfan can see the big python's every move through these black fogs. Facing the sudden attack of the ball of destruction, Yunfan used the Daoluo sword in his hand very flexibly for defense. When the ball of destruction collided with the Daoluo sword, a very strong momentum broke out because of the collision. Well, damn human race, how can you see me? Is it amazing that I can see you? Yunfan responded with a calm smile on his lips. Even if you can see me, what can you do? I'm just a small saint. The Destruction Python laughed. Although he felt the strong threat from Yunfan, he didn't take Yunfan seriously, because before he transformed into the Destruction Python, he was already at the peak of the Saint Beast. After the transformation, he already had the strength of a demigod. Yunfan didn't answer, but directly held the Daoluo sword, and attacked the Destruction Python again. Damn bastard, how can you be so fast? The Destruction Python looked at Yunfan in disbelief. Chapter 538 Domain Function. That speed has far exceeded the peak of the saint rank, and even ordinary god level warriors may not be able to keep up. Yunfan suddenly moved and flew into the air. He held the Daoluo divine sword tightly and took the lead to stab out, directly stabbing at the eyes of the devouring Destruction Python, as fast as lightning and thunder. Facing Ji Yunfan's powerful attack, the destruction python seemed to be a little disdainful because it felt that Ji Yunfan was really useless except for the sword. He never thought that Ji Yunfan could actually see him. He felt that as long as he could avoid the Daoluo divine sword, nothing would happen. Brother Ji, what's going on? The elder could already feel that Ji Yunfan was fighting and couldn't help but ask with concern. There is a black giant python not far away, and I'm trying to get rid of it now. Ji Yunfan said. How is it possible? How can you see things? Even my mental power can't see far here. The second elder exclaimed in disbelief. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's because the technique I practice is special. As the saying goes, you should not have the intention to harm others, but you must be on guard against others. Ji Yunfan naturally couldn't reveal all his cards. Just when the Daoluo sword in Ji Yunfan's hand was about to fall to the left side of the giant python of destruction, Ji Yunfan actually controlled the Daoluo sword and suddenly turned around. The Daoluo sword magically stagnated in the void for a moment, then suddenly changed direction and pierced the neck of the giant python of destruction with a whoosh. The giant python of destruction facing the attack of Ji Yunfan's Daoluo sword suddenly let out a miserable roar, and then his huge tail suddenly waved wildly. With a puff, Ji Yunfan pulled the Daoluo sword out of the giant python of destruction, suddenly blocked the whipping of the giant tail, and then slashed the giant python of destruction again. The tail of the howling giant python of destruction was directly cut off, and a lot of blood spurted out. At the same time, Ji Yunfan did take this opportunity to fly over and landed on the body of the destruction python. The Daoluo sword in Ji Yunfan's hand flew again and cut directly on the body of the destruction python. Roar. Ji Yunfan took out a magic gun from the space ring and quickly pressed the trigger. Every magic bullet he fired hit the same place, which increased the damage of the magic gun. The Daoluo sword in his hand kept stabbing into the body of the destruction python. The destruction python, which was originally showing off its might, now had its scales flying and howled with a huge roar. The surrounding black fog instantly gathered towards it, and its body was also changing rapidly, slowly expanding, like a mutated demon. At this time, the contempt of the giant python had disappeared completely. It looked at Ji Yunfan in disbelief and shouted hoarsely, "Impossible, absolutely impossible. How can you be so powerful? A saint can cause me such great damage." His face was stained with blood, and he looked a little serious now. Ji Yunfan said expressionlessly, "Nothing is impossible. Although I have not reached the demigod level, I don't think it is incomprehensible to challenge a higher level." Ji Yunfan was thrown out by the giant python without checking. The powerful attack force caused Ji Yunfan to suffer serious injuries. He felt that his sternum had been broken by the hammer, but he quickly cheered up and climbed up from the ground. After absorbing a large amount of black fog, the giant python of destruction found its broken tail again, and its momentum became stronger. "Okay, very good. Then let me see what secrets you have." The voice was still hoarse, which made people feel creepy. The angry roar came out of his mouth, and then the weird-looking giant python of destruction swam directly towards Ji Yunfan. He opened his bloody mouth and suddenly covered Ji Yunfan's head, as if he wanted to swallow him in one bite. In an instant, a huge suction came from the mouth of the giant python of destruction, and Ji Yunfan felt that the other party was like a magnet. The people in the black fog didn't know what happened to Ji Yunfan, but they thought that something very dangerous should have happened. Everyone was very anxious and didn't know what to do. Feeling the strong suction, Ji Yunfan was also a little confused. His body was sucked over little by little. If it continued like this, he might really become food in the mouth of the giant python of destruction. "Since you don't let me live, I won't let you have an easy time either." Ji Yunfan was ruthless in his heart, and he madly operated the fighting spirit in his body and injected it completely into the Daoluo sword. The Daoluo sword burst into an unprecedented light. He was originally frozen and absorbed, and he ran directly towards the giant python of destruction. The giant python of destruction was originally very proud that it could devour this annoying guy, but Ji Yunfan's behavior scared him instead. He couldn't help but think of the situation when he was injured just now. He instinctively didn't want him to get close to him, but his reaction was still a little slow. Ji Yunfan had already come to his side and pierced the Daoluo sword through its mouth. blood gushed out again, and the fishy smell was extinguished. Yunfan had become a bloody man at this moment. The giant python of destruction threw him out again. The giant python of destruction had forgotten his mission and swept Yunfan with its giant tail regardless of everything. Yunfan was whipped again and again, and the injuries on his body were getting worse and worse. I can't go on like this. I must think of a good way. Yunfan knew that his current state was very bad. If he continued like this, he might be whipped to death by the giant python of destruction. What should I do? How can I solve the crisis? Unless I ask other people for help. But no one else can see. What should I do? Yunfan asked himself again and again, trying to find a solution. Just when he was beaten to death, suddenly an idea appeared in his mind. If other people can't see, can I be their eyes? If I transmit what I see to their minds. In this way, although they can't see with their eyes, they can perceive the information I convey to them. After having this idea, he no longer considered anything, and directly simulated the surrounding situation into a three-dimensional picture in his mind. Chapter 539 Demon. Through his own mental power, and with the help of his own domain power, he directly transferred the three-dimensional figure to the human race present. The human race present felt a mental power and thought that someone had invaded, so they instinctively wanted to defend. Yunfan hurriedly said to everyone, I will now form a mental power sharing. Everyone must not fight back, otherwise my life may be in danger. After hearing Yunfan's words, everyone immediately gave up the counterattack. Under Yunfan's mental power sharing, the surrounding situation quickly established a model in everyone's mind. This kind of sharing is indeed very mysterious and can directly act on other people's brains. Everyone understood their situation very quickly and attacked the destruction python together. The destruction python was shocked. He never thought that other human races could also discover his existence, but when he found out, it was too late. The second elder had restricted his actions, and the eldest elder cut off the head of the destruction python with a sword, and the destruction python was directly killed. With the help of Yunfan, everyone quickly came to the residence of their human ancestor, only to see the black robe standing in front of the ancestor, and the traces of destruction were released from the black robe's destruction scepter, entwining the ancestor's body. Yunfan didn't know what happened, but the elders and others knew very well that they wanted to destroy the ancestor. Seeing Yunfan and the others coming, the black robe's face changed slightly. Damn trash, it's really unreliable. Damn. The destruction clan, everyone's face was extremely ugly, and they could all feel the waves of danger coming to their hearts. The black-robed destruction clan made a series of unpleasant chattering sounds, and then waved the destruction scepter in his hand. Since so many human races have come, then stay and be buried with your ancestors. The flesh and blood of the human race is the best material to break the seal, so there is no need to look for it anymore. The destruction scepter in his hand burst into a dark light, and his eyes had changed from the color of a normal person to the blackness of a black hole. He scanned the people present with the black glasses like a black hole. When Yunfan met his eyes, he seemed to feel that he had fallen into a bottomless abyss. The people of the destruction clan practiced the strange methods of the outer space. It is said that they are not owned by this world. They came to the world during the heyday of the gods and spread them. They are very different from the practice of magic and fighting spirit. Most of them are forcibly plundered through destruction, and the power they use is also negative emotions, such as anger, hatred, evil, cruelty and other emotions, to stimulate the potential of the body. The elder's face suddenly showed a cold expression. No matter what the destruction clan wants to do, we must stop them. As he spoke, the elder suddenly waved his hand. The sword energy field was instantly generated, and then a golden sword with a western dragon carved on it appeared. It flew out of his hand nimbly and slashed at the black-robed old man. At the same time, behind him, a huge sword condensed by fighting spirit soared into the sky and also went towards the black robe. As he spoke, the rest of the people also sacrificed their own weapons. A six-pointed star formation diagram formed in the air in front of the second elder. As the six-pointed star formation diagram took shape, 5 western fire dragons flew into the sky, and their magic power influenced each other, complementing each other, and their power increased greatly. The fire dragons were entangled in the air, spinning violently and strangling away. The third elder had recovered after a period of recuperation. He snorted coldly, and the black fire on his body flickered and formed a fireball. Although it was not as dazzling as the second elder's, it gathered more powerful elemental power. His body floated in the air, and the black fireball in his hand flew directly towards the black-robed man. The black-robed man frowned. The strength of the first elder, the second elder, the third elder and others was amazing. The black-robed man also felt pressure from them. If it was normal, it would be better, but now he wanted to destroy the ancestor of the human race, but he couldn't spare much energy. Destroy the world. The black-robed man controlled the ancestor's actions with one hand, and waved the destruction scepter with the other hand. 10 demons flew out of it. The demons exuded a strong bloody smell, which spread with the wind, and was extremely pungent. Once it reached their noses, they felt nauseous and weak. Then those demons flew around, and blocked the attacks of the first elder, the second elder and others. What the hell is this? This demon is a very special kind of undead, and it is made with the blood of destruction, mixed with various evil thoughts. It is made by a demigod like him, and is specifically designed to restrain the power of dirty element. Even a demigod, once entangled, will find it difficult to struggle away. The power is no longer pure, and the strength will be greatly reduced. The material of this demon is very difficult to find. Even the black robe has been looking for 5 years, and has just succeeded in refining it recently. This is a treasure that specifically restrains the power of element. To refine this demon, thousands of blood souls, greedy thoughts, and brutal emotions are all integrated into it. Damn it, you actually refined such an evil thing. The elder's body radiated waves of sword light, and he had already flown into the air, and saw that he had been entangled by the demon. He felt that his sword energy was slowly being melted by the demon. Human race, I want to come to your ancestral land. Why don't you plan carefully? Do you really think I'm stupid? The black robe said with a cold smile. Kill. The elder's face was fierce. He didn't want to be led by the other party. He suddenly increased the output of Dao Ki. The sword energy field that had melted a little around him recovered again. A powerful wave of air surged out. The demons who were originally showing off their power wanted to escape when they saw that the situation was not good, but then a beacon-like power came from the elder, and many demons turned into ashes in an instant. One force can defeat 100 skills. Even if you can find a way to restrain us, as long as we are strong, we are still useless. Yunfan was originally excited to watch the fight, but he knew that now was not the time to stand out, so he had to use his field to help others, and wait for an opportunity. Not far away, the Dao Ki sword in the hands of the elder flew out again, and pierced into the demon. Everyone began to fight back, rushing into the demon. The warriors were as flexible as monkeys, and they burst out with powerful power. Each sword was like a meteor sword rain, with a strong and amazing momentum. They were able to survive to this day, and have a strength above the 8th level. Each of them was a person with rich practical experience in fighting. This is a real killing. It's either you die or I die, and it even involves the future of the entire human race, so they have to do their best. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 540, Fire of Rules. One after another, the demons disappeared under the attacks of the crowd. Every time a demon was killed, the crowd could clearly feel the pressure reduced. Haha. At this moment, the black-robed man suddenly laughed wantonly, and the crowd present couldn't help but be shocked. Although they didn't know what happened, they knew that it would definitely not do them any good. At the same time, the aura of destruction on the ancestor became stronger and stronger, and the huge stone, where he sat cross-legged, actually had cracks on it, and the cracks spread like blood vessels. Yunfan couldn't help but think of what the ancestor had said to him. He couldn't leave the ancestral land in order to suppress a god-level seal, and the seal he suppressed was the huge stone in front of him. Haha, a person who is dedicated to hunting the Destruction Clan will eventually be assimilated by the Destruction Clan. Old man of the human race, do you feel particularly pathetic? You are only a little bit away from becoming my slave, and now you and I are connected by chance. In this process, you and I are interdependent. If I die, your human race's ancestor must die with me. Haha. The black-robed man laughed wantonly, and the evil power of the destruction staff had already invaded the whole body of the human race's ancestor. Everyone explained proudly. Looking at the state of the ancestor at this time, everyone was extremely anxious in their hearts, not knowing what to do, whether they should attack the destruction clan in front of them, and how much truth and falsehood the black-robed man said. The aura of destruction that enveloped the head of the human race's ancestor was actually mixed with a huge evil mental force, which poured into the body of the human race's ancestor. Everyone present was a master who could clearly feel it, so everyone really dared not believe the words of this destruction clan. But the more this happened, the more people dared not act rashly. Just when everyone was extremely anxious and didn't know what to do, the human race ancestor, who was originally trapped in the aura of destruction, suddenly opened his eyes and let out a long, earth-shaking roar. The whole body of the human race ancestor was suddenly ignited with raging flames, and the whole person seemed to be wrapped in the extremely powerful flames. The originally distorted face looked hideous and terrifying, and the whole body was filled with an extremely dangerous aura. It was like a time bomb, ready to explode at any time. How is it possible? At the same time, the black-robed destruction clan, who had just been very proud, suddenly turned pale. The originally relaxed and complacent expression on his face suddenly faded, and he shouted in extreme fear, "No, don't. If you do this, you will destroy yourself. If I don't do this, I will also destroy myself, right? Instead of this, it is better for the two of us to perish together," the human race ancestor said in a cold tone. Although the people present didn't know what had happened, seeing the expression of the black-robed destroyer, they thought that the ancestor of the human race must have done something extraordinary, but it must have hurt him a lot. Otherwise, this guy from the black-robed destroyer clan wouldn't have said these words. The trace of destruction that originally enveloped Yunfan's head was repelled by the breath of the human ancestor at some point. The destruction scepter in the hands of the black-robed destroyer clan was shaking violently, as if it had encountered some natural enemy. This guy from the black-robed destroyer clan was mumbling something in his mouth, trying desperately to release the power in the destruction scepter, but unfortunately he seemed a little powerless. The aura of the human ancestor was getting stronger and stronger, and this aura had surpassed the peak of the demigod that Yunfan had seen. Such a powerful strength. Is this the true strength of the human race's ancestor? Yunfan couldn't help but exclaimed. But what exactly does this human race building owner want to do? Why do I have a very uneasy feeling? At this time, the world crystal in Yunfan's sea of consciousness also trembled, as if something had happened that made him angry. Several elders of the human race seemed to suddenly think of something, and their faces became very ugly. They couldn't help but exclaimed, "Ancestor, don't do it. If you continue like this, you will die too." At the same time, a golden long sword flew out from the ancestor's body and suddenly pierced the chest of this black-robed destruction clan. A golden flame instantly burned on his body. No matter how the black-robed destruction clan wanted to extinguish the flame, it seemed that it could not be done. In a very short time, the black-robed destruction clan in front of him had been burned beyond human form. His head was like a piece of dark round black charcoal. The shape of his facial features could no longer be seen, and it seemed that he had no vitality. The fire of rules. These four words suddenly appeared in Yunfan's mind. Yunfan understood instantly that the ancestor of the human race had once again broken through his own limits and used a power beyond the limits of this world. This power was also a curse for him. The golden flame spread and returned to the ancestor of the human race in an instant. Then the ancestor of the human race burned in the golden flame. How could the immortal ancestor be like this? The elder was extremely terrified. He seemed to have thought of something. He quickly cast his eyes on Yunfan and said in a begging tone, "Brother Jizaokyo, you must save some ancestors. This is the first time I have encountered such a situation. I'm afraid." The golden flame made Yunfan feel suffocated. He had no confidence in whether he could save the ancestor of the human race. Because of the death of the Black Robe Destruction Clan, the black fog in the entire space had dissipated, leaving only the Destruction Scepter floating in the air, blooming with a strange light. Yunfan expanded his domain, completely placing the human ancestor in his domain, and began to communicate with the world crystal in his sea of consciousness. A mysterious spell was chanted from Yunfan's mouth. Yunfan waved his hand, and a very strange light shot out from him. The light intertwined with the human ancestor's body, as if it wanted to absorb the flames on the human ancestor's body. However, although the golden flame flashed a few times, it did not do what he wanted. This rule fire is too strong. Yunfan's forehead was dripping with sweat, and he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. If it weren't for the human ancestor's strength, I'm afraid he would have turned into ashes now. No one noticed that the cracks on the boulder where the human ancestor sat had deepened. Chapter 541, General of Destruction. A more pure aura of destruction emerged from the crack. Although the amount was small, it was extremely pure. The pure aura of destruction slowly flowed towards the scepter of destruction. After Yunfan's unremitting efforts, the rock-hard power of rules was finally absorbed by it. However, at this critical moment, the scepter of destruction not far away was like a black hole, absorbing everything around it. What's going on? Everyone present was confused, but their expressions were serious. Haha. So many years have passed. It's time for me to reappear in the world. A wild laugh appeared in everyone's heart. At the same time, the huge rock, where the ancestor of the human race sat actually collapsed, and turned into nothingness. Everyone, be careful. This is the legendary general of the Destruction Clan, Emperor Shishan. Just as Yunfan was slightly distracted by the words of the Great Elder, suddenly a blade of air appeared in front of his eyes, like a waning moon, suddenly slashing down like a ghost, and like a demon crawling out of the netherworld. It seemed that the surroundings were instantly drawn into chaos and unstoppable. Yunfan felt that all the hairs on his body stood up. He encountered an unprecedented crisis. He watched helplessly as the air blade slashed towards his body, but he was too late to react. At this critical moment, the elder suddenly made a move. The sword light of Dalki was like lightning piercing through the clouds, crossing the void and directly hitting the destructive air blade, saving Yunfan from the crisis. Is this the strength of Emperor Shishan? So strong. I don't even have time to resist. If it weren't for the elder, sissy, especially on the air blade, it seems to carry an evil spirit that confuses the mind. This is a phenomenon that only gods have. After reaching the realm of gods, they have divinity. Divinity has incredible effects. Every attack can create all kinds of illusions and affect the enemy's spirit. This is already the realm of gods. Doesn't this world allow gods to exist? The weird and incomparable destructive aura is still gathering. A young man in white clothes appeared in front of everyone. The people of the Destruction Clan have always been wearing black robes. Only this guy is wearing white clothes, and is pure and incomparable. The descendant of the sword god. I didn't expect that I would meet you, a little guy. When I escaped, the hoarse and magnetic voice came out of the white-clothed man. Yunfan could feel that the Destruction Clan in front of him was very young, with the face of a young man, but he couldn't see his true face clearly, as if it was a mess. The most alarming thing was that there was no trace of murderous aura or evil spirit on him, just like an ordinary mortal. However, no one present dared to underestimate this guy in front of him. The destruction scepter in his hand had already blossomed with endless power in the hands of the black-robed man, not to mention that the legendary general was standing in front of them. You are really special. You can actually treat the rule of death. It's not easy. A thick aura of destruction suddenly floated out from the body of the white-clothed man in front of him. This aura of destruction was even purer, slowly transformed into a large net, and went directly to Yunfan. I want to see what's special about you. When the large net composed of the pure body of destruction reached Yunfan's head, Yunfan frantically operated his domain power, wanting to pay the large net composed of the aura of destruction back, but what made him helpless was that the energy in his body was too little. When facing the aura of destruction, it was like a small boat in the sea. The large net composed of the pure aura of destruction flowed into Yunfan's head along Yunfan's mouth, nose, eyes, pupils, and ears. This series of changes made the people around him stunned, and they didn't know what was going on. After the large net composed of the aura of destruction flowed into Ji Yunfan's head from his 7 holes, the weight loss pills stood still. However, his facial expressions kept changing, sometimes laughing, sometimes in pain, sometimes angry, like a chameleon. What should we do now? Everyone present seemed to be in a dilemma again. When Ji Yunfan stood there motionless, the ancestor of the human race had recovered from the fire of rules. I didn't expect the seal to be broken while I was guarding it. The ancestor of the human race took a deep breath. He knew that he couldn't let the destruction clan in front of him continue to perform. Otherwise Ji Yunfan would be in big trouble, either becoming a member of the destruction clan or being destroyed by the destruction aura. Countless destructions spread around, and several people who entered at that time, some of the weak ones couldn't stand it. And Ji Yunfan, who was standing in the center of the destruction aura, was also suffering from the destruction aura. The King Emperor's Dao Qi in his body was incompatible with the destruction aura. The two were like natural enemies. Ji Yunfan felt that his body was about to boil. Let him go. Unfortunately, the words of the human race ancestor could not restrain the general at all, and actually had the opposite effect. The aura of destruction entangled around Ji Yunfan became even stronger. At this critical moment, the world tree in Ji Yunfan's body woke up, and the 11 semi-god godheads surrounding it bloomed with brilliant brilliance at the same time. The brilliant brilliance attracted the world crystal in Ji Yunfan's sea of consciousness, and then a strange aura was released from Ji Yunfan's hand. One finger entered the soul. Just a volley of vicissitudes of life burst out from his body, and everyone present felt a great aura from him. Facing him was like facing the whole world. A strange seal word formed in his hand and flew towards the direction of the general. Seeing the seal word flying towards him, his calm face couldn't help but show a trace of surprise, because he had already felt the power of the world from this seal word. Damn it, how could you possibly use the power of the world? Is this power the legendary power of the world? Ji Yunfan couldn't help but mutter to himself. At this moment, it seemed as if the whole world had lent him power, and he was like the master of this world. However, the great general in front of him gave him a feeling of being out of tune, a feeling that was very contradictory, disgusting and repulsive. Could it be that the crystal of the world is in your possession? The white robe destruction clan suddenly thought of something, and couldn't help but ask. Ji Yunfan was suddenly shocked after hearing what the other party said. He never thought that the other party would actually guess that he had the crystal of the world. Chapter 542, Dragon World. It looks like it's in your hands. The subtle changes on Ji Yunfan's face were immediately felt by the white robe destruction clan, and then an excited smile appeared on his face. Hand over the world crystal, I can let you go and save your life. The temptation of the world crystal is too great. As long as he has the world crystal, he can exert all his strength, and no one in the world can stop him. Everyone present was also shocked by the words of the white robe general. Although they knew that Ji Yunfan could treat the rule of death, they never thought that he had the world crystal. Ji Yunfan smiled coldly. What is a world crystal? I don't have it, and even if I have it, I won't give it to you. Ji Yunfan naturally would not admit that he had the world crystal, otherwise he would be waiting for endless trouble. After hearing Ji Yunfan's words, everyone in the human race showed an expression of as expected. In their opinion, although Ji Yunfan performed magically, he was just a saint-level strongman, so how could he have the world crystal? Little guy, you don't admit it, right? Then let me refine you by force. The white robe general said indifferently. If you want to harm my friends in my ancestral land, you have to get through us first. Even though they knew they were no match, the elders attacked angrily. They are just some small ants. If it weren't for the rules of this world, I could completely destroy you with just a breath. Thank this world for its protection. When facing the general of the white robe destroyer clan, the elders were obviously no match, and were quickly defeated. Ji Yunfan knew that he couldn't sit and wait for death at this moment. He used up all the strength in his body to activate the crystal of the world. Just when the general of the white robe destroyer clan thought he could wipe out the human race in the underground world, a colorful light suddenly enveloped him, and then he felt a very strong suction. The white robe general was completely trapped in the colorful vortex. No matter how she struggled, she couldn't escape from the vortex. Just when he was about to be completely swallowed by the colorful vortex, he suddenly stretched out his hand and grabbed Ji Yunfan at once, and then he and Ji Yunfan fell into the vortex at the same time. By the time the elders reacted, Ji Yunfan and the general had disappeared without a trace. After an unknown amount of time, Ji Yunfan woke up from his coma. When Ji Yunfan woke up, he found himself lying on a wooden bed. Ji Yunfan sat up from the bed and couldn't help but ask, "Where is this? Sister, sister, little brother is awake." A crisp voice sounded, and Ji Yunfan couldn't help but look in the direction of the voice, only to see a little loli standing at the door, looking at him curiously. "Hello, little guy, did you and your family save me?" Ji Yunfan asked. "It was my sister who saved you. Are you a dragon slayer? Otherwise, how could you be injured?" The little guy asked curiously. "No, if you are a dragon slayer, why don't you have a crest on your body?" "Dragon slayer? Crest?" Hearing these two words, Ji Yunfan was a little confused. "What is that? It seems that you are not a dragon slayer," the little guy said with some disappointment. "Are you awake?" A pleasant voice came from behind the little Lalita. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but look out the door again. What caught his eye was a red-haired girl who looked about 16 or 17 years old. On her left hand, an unknown red pattern was quite conspicuous. After a series of conversations, Ji Yunfan figured out his situation. It turned out that he was no longer in the Kuska continent. The continent he was in was called the Dragon Continent. There was also a professional system in the Dragon Continent, but in this world, professionals were collectively called Herald Warriors, also known as Dragon Slayers, and the red-haired girl in front of him was a third-level Herald Warrior. In this world, the rank distribution of Herald Warriors from low to high is the same as that on the Kuska continent, but the cultivation of Herald Warriors and the cultivation of magic fighting spirit are different. If people on the Dragon Continent want to become Emblem Warriors, they first need to go to the temple to check their talents. If they have talents, they need to pay 1000 dragon coins to awaken the emblem. After getting the emblem, they can upgrade by absorbing dragon coins or dragon crystals. Of course, this upgrade is not endless and has a lot to do with their own talents. Did Sakadin notice anything different? Ji Yunfan asked. Yes, the so-called Emblem Warrior is very problematic. Sakadin said, if I'm not mistaken, this is a kind of sacrificial divine pattern. When the divine pattern reaches a certain level, it will completely sacrifice the power in the emblem to the god who gave it. Sure enough, so, the creatures in this world are like the beasts raised by the gods. Ji Yunfan sighed, the gods are unkind. This emblem is still very interesting. You can practice it. Sakadin suddenly changed the subject and said, Sakadin, could it be? Ji Yunfan asked. Don't worry, although the divine pattern is mysterious, I can still handle it. This time, we will make the so-called god of justice lose more than he gains, said Sakadin. Where are you from? Don't you have a temple of justice there? You don't even know about the Herald Warriors? Sophia frowned and asked, and how dare an ordinary person wander around at night? You know, the night is the world of evil dragons. Except for the Herald Warriors who go out to hunt evil dragons at night. How dare ordinary people leave their homes? I lost my memory. Ji Yunfan had to answer with the universal time travel. Sophia, can you tell me about this evil dragon? Brother, Fia also knows the legend of the evil dragon. Otherwise let Lala tell you. The 6-year-old little Lalita Lala volunteered. Okay, Lala, tell your brother what the origin of this evil dragon is. Ji Yunfan picked up the little Lalita and said lovingly. Legend has it that a long time ago, the continent was not called the Dragon Continent. People lived happily on the continent. Then one day, a pitch black crack suddenly appeared in the sky. The Lord of the Dragons, Franks, came through the crack with his dragons. These dragons fed on humans, and the people of the continent lived in dire straits. Just when people were most desperate, the righteous dragon god Fiada came. He fought with Franks for 7 days and 7 nights, and finally signed the Dragon Treaty with Franks. From then on, the daytime is the world of humans, and the night is the world of dragons and emblem warriors. Chapter 543 Dragon Treaty. The Dragon Treaty? Dragons are not allowed to kill humans at will. Humans must stay in their rooms at night, and are not allowed to go out at will. Otherwise, life and death are left to fate. and the dragon god of justice Fiada also gave humans emblems, allowing humans to become emblem warriors and have the strength to compete with dragons. The owner of the Temple of Justice is a dragon? Yunfan's expression flashed. Yes, the dragon god of justice Fiada is the only kind-hearted dragon. Lala said. The only kind-hearted dragon. Dragon god Fiada, this world is getting more and more interesting. Yunfan thought to himself. According to what the little guy said, I have sorted out some clues. If I'm not mistaken, the so-called righteous dragon god and the evil dragon are together, and the real leader is the righteous dragon god. Everything is for him to gain faith and cultivate the cauldron. Sakadin said in a flat tone, this kind of thing is common in the god continent. Many gods will do anything to gain the power of faith. Sure enough, in the eyes of these high and mighty gods, ordinary humans are just like ants. Yunfan shook his head with an ugly look. To be honest, he came from Earth. Although he was not a good person, he hated this kind of guy who looked down on the common people. But it's good this way. It should be easier to improve your strength here than in your original continent. You now have a very deep understanding of the rules of the gods, but you just lack the energy for transformation. This so-called dragon crystal should be a very special rule power, which can be used for your own benefit. Sakadin said. You mean that I should hunt the evil dragon directly and absorb the power of the dragon crystal to improve my strength? Yunfan's eyes lit up slightly. This is a good idea, but I don't know if it is the same as what you speculated. We still need to verify it, but how to absorb the power of these dragon crystals? Of course, do it according to the practice of the emblem warriors. Even if you can directly absorb the power of these dragon crystals, I don't recommend you to do so. You must know that you are now an illegal household in this world. If you really act so eccentrically, I believe that you will be targeted by masters in a short time. I don't think you want to be hunted down by the so-called dragon god of justice. From their words, you should be able to speculate the strength of the dragon god of justice. At least it should be a true god level existence. Otherwise, how can he use the power of faith? Sakadin said. But Sakadin, didn't you say that the so-called emblem is actually a sacrificial emblem? Even if I get more, in the end it is just a wedding dress for the dragon god of justice. Yunfan said with some confusion. Don't worry. How can I let you take risks if you don't have the ability to hide the truth? You should know that we are on the same boat. If you can't run away, I can't leave you either. My strength has recovered a lot now. When you accept the so-called emblem, I will help you modify it. Yunfan was moved by the other party's words. Because of the battle with the general of the destruction clan, Yunfan was injured and could not exert his full strength. According to his level, he could only exert the 7th level strength. It was okay to deal with some ordinary masters. If he really met a character like the Justice Dragon God, it would be almost impossible to get out of it. According to Yunfan's calculations, if he wanted to return to his original world, he would need to be at least at the peak of a demigod. He would need to stay in this evil dragon world for a long time. Naturally, he also needed an identity here. Night fell. Yunfan, have you really thought about it? You want to follow me to hunt evil dragons? You are just an ordinary person. You have no power to fight back when facing evil dragons. Sophia looked at Yunfan, who wanted to go hunting evil dragons with him, in disbelief. Of course. Miss Sophia, don't worry. I'm not as fragile as you think. Yunfan said confidently. I was born with supernatural power. The reason why he wanted to go with Sophia to hunt the dragon was, on the one hand, because he wanted to have an intuitive understanding of this world, and on the other hand, he needed money to live in this world. Born with supernatural power. Sophia still didn't believe it and looked at Yunfan with suspicion. But seeing that Yunfan was determined to go out, she finally found the weapon she had used before. This is the weapon I used when I was level 1. I didn't sell it because I kept it as a souvenir. Now I'll lend it to you for the time being. Don't die easily. Don't worry, I believe I will definitely gain a lot today. Yunfan took the weapons and armor handed to him by Sophia. Because it was the armor that Sophia had used before, it was a little tight on Yunfan. Although these defensive powers were better than nothing for him, he did not refuse Sophia's kindness. As for why he didn't use his Daoluo sword, it was because he lost the Daoluo sword when he fell into this world. You'd better stay behind me after you go out, Sophia repeatedly reminded. If you encounter a dragon below level 3, it's better to say it. If you encounter a dragon of level 4 or above, run as far as you can, because I can't guarantee your safety. What Sophia didn't say was that if you really encounter a dragon above level 4, even she would be in great danger. Yunfan smiled and nodded. He still had a good impression of this girl with a sharp tongue, but a soft heart. He decided to help her more in the future, and if possible, he would modify her emblem. Yunfan followed Sophia out, and before he had gone far, he encountered a level 1 white dragon. This so-called dragon looked similar to a lizard on Earth. After seeing the white level 1 dragon, Sophia directly activated her emblem. A flame power spread from her emblem to his hand, wrapping her pink fist in flames, and then swung her fist fiercely at the white dragon. With the fist, Sophia knocked the first level white dragon to the ground. It rolled over for a few times, and then stopped moving. Sophia took out a short knife from her waist, and cut open the dragon's head. She took out a white crystal from the dragon's head. The white crystal seemed to have patterns similar to the emblem on Sophia's hand, but it was much simpler than the pattern on her hand. This is a first level white dragon. This is a first level white dragon crystal. This kind of dragon crystal can usually be sold for 200 dragon crystal coins on the underground black market. Chapter 544. Emblem Warrior. Sophia told Yunfan about the value of dragon crystals, and Yunfan listened very carefully and nodded slightly. Along the way, Sophia hunted a lot of level 1 dragons, and could deal with level 2 dragons, but she didn't encounter level 3 or above dragons. In Sophia's narration, Yunfan quickly figured out the prices in this world. Level 2 dragon crystals are about 10 times the price of level 1 dragon crystals, and level 3 dragon crystals are about 10 times the price of level 2. As the level of dragon crystals increases, the value ratio is getting higher and higher. Level 5 and above dragon crystals are already out of stock. Somewhere Sophia held a sword and stared at the dragons in front of her that were several times larger than the level 1 and 2 dragons. These dragons evolved from low-level dragons. At this time, the dragons already had sharp claws and were lethal. The leather on its body was as smooth as a mirror, and its eyes had a palpitating luster. Level 4 dragon. Sophia was already sweating a little at this moment. Years of adventure career allowed her to quickly recognize the level of dragons. A level 4 dragon is nothing in the eyes of some masters, but for a level 3 emblem warrior like Sophia, it is definitely a difficult character. Moreover, the level 4 dragon in front of her has obviously undergone alienation, which is very different from ordinary dragons. After a short fight, she knew the direction of the alienation of the dragon in front of her, that is, speed. This dragon has a faster speed than other level 4 dragons. A dragon with this kind of talent is definitely a very difficult character. Sophia did not expect that she would encounter such a difficult dragon today, and this dragon's level is 1 level higher than hers. The dragons in this world are inherently bloodthirsty and brutal in their evolution. As long as they see humans, they will immediately start to fight. Even among their own kind, they will kill each other, showing the law of the jungle to the fullest. If it were not for the legendary Dragon Treaty, I'm afraid that humans would have ceased to exist long ago. Roar. Almost at the moment, when Sophia was distracted, the dragon's innate magical power unfolded, turning into a shadow, and pounced on Sophia. Emblem activated. With the thought in her mind, the red emblem on her hand burst into dazzling flames, and holding the sword, under the blessing of the flame, it showed a powerful attack power. After the addition of the flame power of the emblem, Sophia's strength instantly increased to the limit. It was just the power of the 3rd level emblem. Although it was the addition of the flame power, it was more used for force strikes. With the combination of weapons, this was the fighting method of the lower level emblem warriors. Only when you become an emblem warrior of the higher level can you use the incredible power of the elemental force, and have the ability to destroy the world. Swoosh. Sophia pushed her emblem power to the extreme. At the same time, she felt that her reaction nerves were also improved to the most sensitive state, and she slashed towards the dragon. The emblem sword in Sophia's hand chopped on the dragon, making a clanging sound, like the sound of metal hitting. Sophia felt a shock in her palm, and then her whole arm felt numb. A huge rebound force came back, and she could hardly hold the sword in her hand, and she was already flying out. Looking at the dragon rushing towards her, Sophia once again raised the sword and chopped it head on, and it collided with the dragon's claws. Sophia was once again hit several meters away by the dragon. At the same time, she did not forget to shout to Yunfan, Yunfan, get out of here quickly. Sophia stood up from the ground again, and the dragon not far away looked at Sophia and Yunfan with contempt and greed. He did not see the emblem of the emblem warrior on Yunfan's body, and thought that Yunfan was just an ordinary person. Although Sophia was knocked away again and again, she landed on the ground several meters away nimbly several times. It seemed that she had mastered a very agile body movement. However, the collisions made her hands tremble slightly. However, the evil dragon not far away did not expect that the little girl in front of her was so tenacious. Although she had reached level 4, the little girl in front of her at level 3 still had an impact on her. It seemed that she had reached the peak of level 3. Moreover, the little girl was looking at it with hatred, which made the evil dragon very angry. In his eyes, humans were just their food. If it were not for that annoying dragon god, how could they only act at night? Roar. With a violent roar, the claws of the evil dragon attacked again in an instant, and its body once again turned into a black shadow and attacked. At this point, Yunfan knew that Sophia should not be able to hold on, and he could not help but take a step to block her. Get out of here quickly, you are just an ordinary person, what are you going to do? Don't die here in vain. Seeing Yunfan standing in front of her, she was very moved on the one hand, but on the other hand, she blamed him for overestimating his own abilities. You know, even if she faced a level 4 dragon, she would be in danger, let alone Yunfan, an ordinary person. I said I was born with supernatural powers. A small level 4 dragon is no problem. Yunfan said in a flat tone. Yunfan's words seemed to anger the dragon. He didn't expect that a guy without a coat of arms would dare to show off in front of him, so he decided to completely tear the human in front of him to let him know his majesty. Yunfan, what nonsense are you talking about? Only the coat of arms warriors can resist the dragon. Thinking of Yunfan's tragic ending, Sophia closed her eyes involuntarily. She didn't want to see Yunfan being torn apart. The level 4 dragon is not a high level dragon, so its attack method is relatively simple. They relied on their strong bodies, and the alienated 4th level evil dragon in front of them was an extraordinary 4th level evil dragon. However, these were nothing in Yunfan's eyes. Although he was injured and could not exert his full strength, it was easy for him to kill a 4th level evil dragon. Facing the evil dragon flying towards him, Yunfan looked calm. As the 1st level sword in his hand stabbed out, it seemed as if the whole world was frozen there. When the surrounding sounds disappeared, Sophia opened her eyes involuntarily and looked at all this in disbelief. Yunfan was standing there, and the 1st level sword in his hand had pierced into the evil dragon's head. Chapter 545 Looking for Trouble. How is this possible? Sophia couldn't believe what was happening in front of her. An ordinary person could kill a level 4 dragon with a level 1 sword. This was just like a fairy tale. Didn't I tell you? I was born with supernatural power. Although Yunfan couldn't mobilize the energy in his body now, he could exert the strength of a level 7 warrior with his physical body alone. However, he didn't want this matter to be spread out. Sophia, can you promise me something? What is it? Don't tell anyone that I killed a level 4 dragon, at least not now. Yunfan looked at Sophia intently and said, I understand your worries. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. This is a secret between us, isn't it? Sophia's face was slightly red. Yes, this is a secret between us. Well, it's not too late now, let's go back. Yunfan broke the head of the level 4 dragon, took out the level 4 dragon crystal from his head, handed it to Sophia and said, I can't take this as your trophy. Sophia shook her head and said, if I want this, I have plenty of it. Otherwise, you can keep it for me for the time being. You are not an emblem warrior yet, and you cannot use and sell dragon crystals. Consider it as you selling it to me. Sophia is now a peak level 3 emblem warrior. If she can get a level 4 dragon crystal, there is a great hope that she can break through to her level. Therefore, this level 4 dragon crystal is very important to Sophia. Okay then. Yunfan was very clear about Sophia's stubbornness, so he didn't force it. Just when Yunfan and Sophia were about to leave, they suddenly heard footsteps not far away. Yunfan couldn't help but frown slightly. After a while, a 5-man emblem team came out of the darkness. They saw the corpse of the level 4 evil dragon not far from Yunfan, and couldn't help but reveal a fiery expression. The leader of the 5-man team then turned his attention to Yunfan and Sophia. When he saw Sophia, a strange look appeared on his face. What a coincidence, Sophia. I didn't expect to meet you here. This level 4 evil dragon should have been killed by you, right? The leader of the 5-man team asked consciously or unconsciously. What does it have to do with you if I killed it? After seeing the appearance of these 5 people, Sophia's face changed slightly. He was very familiar with the 5 people in front of him. These 5 people, like him, came from the Heraldry Academy. Although they were not in the same class, they were in the same grade. However, the reputation of these 5 people in the school was not very good. It was said that they often formed a team to go out and rob some heraldry warriors who acted alone. However, because their family background was not ordinary, as long as they did not do too much, the academy would turn a blind eye. Of course it has a lot to do with us. If it was killed by Sophia, then the dragon crystal must be in Sophia's hands. If it wasn't killed by you, it wouldn't be in your hands. After he found out that Yunfan was not an emblem warrior, he didn't even look at Yunfan, because he didn't believe that an ordinary person could kill a level 4 dragon. I didn't kill this dragon. How could I, a mere level 3 emblem warrior, kill a level 4 dragon? Sophia responded calmly. You are lying. If you didn't kill him, how come the blood and wounds on your body came from? One of the 5 people said viciously. Little girl, you actually dared to lie to our boss. Don't think that we won't do anything to you, just because you have some talent. You are seriously injured now. Hand over the dragon crystal obediently, and don't force us to take action, otherwise, you and your boyfriend will die. Sibik, don't go too far. Sophia's face was terribly gloomy. Although she had heard that this 5-man team was very hateful, that was only hearsay. She always had a skeptical attitude towards things she hadn't seen with her own eyes. However, she didn't expect that these 5 people would rob her today. So what if you are going too far? You are just an orphan. If your parents were still alive, we might be afraid of you, but your parents died while exploring the ruins. The leader of the 5-man team continued to threaten. There is no one else here. It is very common for 1 or 2 emblem warriors to die at night in the dragon continent. My friends, I can testify that Miss Sophia did not lie. The dragon was not killed by her, but by someone else. Yunfan said to the 5 people with a smile. Who are you, kid? If she didn't kill it, could it be you who killed it? The leader of the 5-man team saw that Yunfan dared to refute him, and sneered. Why couldn't I kill it? Yunfan said seriously. You bastard, you want to play tricks on us? You don't even know how much you weigh, you're just a piece of trash. One of the 5 people in the team laughed wantonly, as if he had heard a funny joke. Since you're a piece of trash, and told such a cold joke that made us laugh, get out of here. Can you teach me how to get out? Yunfan smiled, but there was a cold light in his eyes. Through the words of these people threatening Sophia, Yunfan knew that these people were not good people. These people actually wanted to kill people and rob goods, and it seemed that they would kill him to silence him after killing people and robbing goods. You bastard. You're just looking for death. The guy who just laughed at Yunfan suddenly activated the emblem in his hand, and a green emblem power instantly spread over his fist. Then, the guy ran towards Yunfan quickly, and the fist suddenly hit Yunfan's head. Seeing that guy dared to attack him, Yunfan narrowed his eyes slightly. In the eyes of ordinary people, the guy's speed was already very fast, but in Yunfan's eyes, he was as slow as a snail. When the fist containing the power of the blue emblem was 5 centimeters away from his head, Yunfan suddenly attacked. Yunfan grabbed the opponent's fist. Seeing that Yunfan dared to grab his fist, the man couldn't help but laugh in his heart. Chapter 546, Crush. This kid is really overestimating his own abilities. How can an ordinary person like you withstand the attack of a dignified level 2 Wind Emblem warrior? However, this emotion did not last long. He felt that his hand was as if it was pinched by a pair of pliers and he could not get rid of it at all. Let go, you bastard, or I will make you look good. You try to make me look good now. Yunfan responded in a flat tone, with no intention of letting go. Kagil, what are you doing there? Get rid of that useless kid. At this time, one of the 5-man team shouted loudly, "Save me." Kagil, who was captured by Yunfan, had to ask for help from his friends. Although he knew that asking for help would make him lose face, he had no choice now. What are you doing? You asked for help from a useless guy. Originally, they thought Kagil was just joking there, but when they felt a hint of urgency in his tone, the 5-man team found something wrong. A level 3 emblem warrior from the 5-man team rushed towards Yunfan and the other two. Emblem activated. With a thought in his mind, the right fist of the level 3 emblem warrior was instantly covered with a blue force. Yunfan could clearly feel the power of the water element from his right hand, and immediately realized that the other party was a level 3 water emblem warrior. The surging power brought by the emblem made the level 3 emblem warrior feel that he could crush Yunfan to death at will. But the fact is that this is just a self-expansion side effect brought by power. Yunfan's true strength is not something he can estimate. In fact, the level 3 emblem warrior in front of him has just broken through. It is precisely because of the breakthrough that he has not a clear understanding of his own strength. Because of his average talent, he has wasted a lot of resources. If it were not for his strong family background, it would probably take a lot of time to break through the level 3 emblem warrior. Feeling the change in strength and the increase in his speed, he has already expanded. Sometimes a slight increase in strength will change something. What's more, it was a breakthrough of the original level. With his limited knowledge, it was impossible for him to know the powerful force brewing in Yunfan's body. This level 3 emblem warrior, like the previous one, came to Yunfan and punched him directly. Yunfan felt a strong murderous aura on the other side. For those enemies who wanted to kill him, Yunfan would never be soft-hearted. Yunfan held the sword of that level in his hand and simply ignored the level 3 emblem warrior. He didn't even move his body and controlled the weapon in his hand to meet it. The sword he held was as fast as lightning. The huge force made the sword tear the air directly. Even because of the extremely fast speed, it produced a sound of breaking through the air. And the level 3 emblem warrior, after hearing the sound of breaking through the air, his face turned pale. You know, with his current strength, it is impossible to achieve this effect. Isn't the other party just an ordinary person? How could he hit such a powerful blow? Puff. In the sound of flesh and blood being torn apart, the level 3 emblem warrior was chopped and flew out, smashing several meters away. The air was filled with a faint smell of blood, which stunned everyone present for a moment. The 3rd level emblem warrior had his arm cut off by Yunfan, and a huge wound gushing with blood gushed out, causing the 3rd level emblem warrior to struggle and roll in pain. Although this blow did not take his life, he became a cripple from then on. Some of the surrounding trees were blown into a mess by the sword wind brought by Yunfan's sword. Damn bastard, how dare you attack him? The other people in the 5-man team were shocked at first, and Yunfan's ruthless attack, but they quickly reacted. Are you allowed to kill me but not you? What's the reason? Are all villains so stupid? Yunfan responded in a flat tone. At the same time, he exerted force suddenly, and the 2nd level position warrior he captured was thrown out directly. How do you want to draw the line? Let's do it. At this time, the other members of the 5-man team had also reacted. The guy in front of them, who seemed to be useless, was the real hidden talent. The 4th level evil dragon was really killed by this guy, and 2 of the 5 of them had already lost their combat effectiveness. If they continued to tangle with this guy, they would probably be wiped out. So they planned to admit defeat and let Yunfan give them a way out, and then find a way to take revenge after returning. I want you to die, what do you think? Yunfan said. Damn bastard, do you really want to kill us all? The 5-man team questioned. If I'll let you leave here, will you be grateful? I'm afraid you will find someone to kill me if you have the chance. Ji Yunfan raised the corner of his mouth slightly and said with a sarcastic tone, "If you don't remove the roots, there will be life in the spring breeze. I don't want to cause unnecessary trouble for myself. Brother, how can we do this?" The members of the 5-man team looked a little pale. Although they thought so, they would never admit it. Several people said they would not do that and began to slowly retreat. How could Ji Yunfan not see their little thoughts? He came in front of them in an instant. He just drew a sword for each of them and killed all the 5 members of the team right there. Sophia looked at Ji Yunfan, who was killing decisively. There was nothing but shock in her brows. She never thought that this ordinary person she rescued would directly kill all the members of the 5-member team. You know, the lowest level among them is level 2, and the highest level captain is at the same level as herself. So she couldn't withstand the sword of the man in front of her. Haha, don't be surprised. There are too many incredible things in this world. Didn't I tell you that I'm very strong? Ji Yunfan said to Sophia with a smile. After hearing this, Sophia came back to her senses from her daze. After a while, she looked at Ji Yunfan with a wry smile. What a monster. He can achieve this effect just by relying on physical strength. Who would believe it if I tell others? There's nothing strange about it. You have to learn to adapt to my peculiarity. Because I think more and more surprising things will happen to me in the future. Ji Yunfan smiled slightly and seemed to be in a very good mood. Remember to keep this matter a secret for me. I don't want to cause too much trouble. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 547, Strange. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Even if I tell anyone, who would believe it? An ordinary person can kill a level 4 evil dragon and a 5-man team. It seems that I really saved an incredible person. The future achievements are unimaginable. Sophia looked at Ji Yunfan now and suddenly remembered the future. Her beautiful eyes stared at Ji Yunfan's somewhat inexplicable look. The two did not stay any longer and left there one after the other. It was just dawn and they left there unnoticed while everyone was not paying attention. As for the bodies of the 5-man team, they did not deal with them. I believe that it will not be long before an evil dragon will help them deal with them. When Ji Yunfan killed the 5-man team, 5 jade cards turned into ashes in several courtyards. On the evil dragon road, many families will make a jade card representing the identity for the members of their family and put it in a special space. Because the jade card contains a trace of soul, if the owner of the jade card is killed, the jade card will also break. The person who was originally guarding the jade card was drowsy, and a crisp sound of shattering woke the person he was guarding up, and he hurriedly reported to his clan leader. You know, the person who can set up the jade card has a very important status in the family. Ji Yunfan came to the Temple of Justice under the guidance of Sophia, and then he handed a dazed dragon crystal coin to the priest, who was responsible for testing the talent. The priest took the dragon crystal coin directly and took Ji Yunfan into the Temple of Justice in an arrogant manner, without even looking at Ji Yunfan. It is known that ordinary people who come to awaken the emblem are generally 11 or 12 years old, and people as old as Ji Yunfan are very rare. Either they don't have money to come for identification, or they have money, but no emblem talent. No matter which one it is, Ji Yunfan has no chance of becoming a peerless strongman. The priest of the Temple of Justice can be said to be the most sacred profession on the continent, and no one will offend them. Hey, are you ready? The priest didn't even ask Ji Yunfan's name, and asked directly. I'm ready. Let's get started. Remember to be pious to the God of Justice. Haha, pious? Ji Yunfan was disdainful in his heart. If it weren't for the identity of a herald warrior, I wouldn't even come to this Temple of Justice, and you want to get my faith. How is that possible? The priest took out a book from somewhere, then opened the book, bowed deeply to the statue of the God of Justice in the temple, and then mumbled. Then the statue of the God of Justice burst into a strong light, and Ji Yunfan was even pierced by the strong light, and couldn't open his eyes. Then a tall figure appeared in his mind. That image belonged to the God of Justice. Then Ji Yunfan felt his brain fell into a drowsiness. Just when he felt that he was about to lose himself, a cool power suddenly came from the world tree, awakening him from his loss. Yunfan couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. He didn't expect that the so-called dragon god of justice would be so sinister. Just like a psychological suggestion, he would add the idea of being loyal to the dragon god of justice into his subconscious mind. Fortunately, the bestowal ceremony was a magic array that had been prepared long ago, and the dragon god of justice did not really descend. Otherwise, if he discovered Yunfan's specialness, he would definitely suppress him directly. He is not yet the opponent of the dragon god of justice. With the end of the ceremony, a mysterious rune appeared in Yunfan's hand. That rune is what is called a coat of arms in this world. According to Yunfan's own attributes, he should get a rune of chaos attributes, but if he does so, it would be too high profile. So Yunfan directly let Sakadan leave a rune of fire attributes that he modified. Congratulations on getting the coat of arms of fire attributes. The glory of the dragon god of justice is with you. The priest nodded slightly with a little surprise. He didn't expect that Yunfan, who was so old, actually awakened the coat of arms, but he still didn't think highly of Yunfan. Yunfan didn't care about the attitude of the priest at all. If he didn't have a formal identity, he wouldn't come here. When Yunfan came out of the temple, Sophia hurriedly looked at Yunfan's hand. After seeing the emblem on Yunfan's hand, it seemed that the stone pressing on her heart fell to the ground. She breathed a long sigh of relief and showed a happy expression on her face. Even Sophia herself didn't know why she felt like she was overwhelmed. Congratulations on becoming an emblem warrior. Let's celebrate it, Sophia said with a smile. Okay, I just happen to have some dragon crystal coins in my hand. Let's buy some food to celebrate and bring a gift to the little girl, Yunfan said with a smile. I'm afraid this is not good. Sophia hesitated. What can be bad? If you hadn't saved me, I'm afraid I would have died outside and become food in the belly of the evil dragon, Yunfan said casually. Sister and brother Yunfan are back. Did you bring me any gifts? Lala ran over happily when she saw Sophia and Yunfan coming in. Of course I brought a gift for Lala, Yunfan said as he handed the teddy bear he bought to Lala. You really bought a gift for Lala? Brother Yunfan, you are so nice. Lala ran to Yunfan and kissed him. Sister, why did you buy so many delicious foods today? Lala soon saw the food in Sophia's hand. Today, your brother Yunfan became an emblem warrior. The little girl hadn't noticed the emblem on Yunfan's hand. After Sophia's reminder, she couldn't help but look at his hand. When she saw that Yunfan had a tattoo on his hand, she couldn't help but jump up excitedly. Yunfan, it's great that you actually became an emblem warrior. When I grow up, I will also become an emblem warrior and hunt dragons. What are your plans for the future? Sophia asked Yunfan after dinner. Improve your strength. Yunfan replied, if possible, I would like to go to the academy. Although he has heard a lot about the dragon continent from Sophia, his knowledge of the continent is still very limited. Generally, some big families and academies have a lot of books, which can help him understand the entire continent more quickly. You want to go to the Heraldry Academy? Sophia's eyes flashed with a strange light, but then she frowned. Chapter 548 Admission Requirements. Although you are very powerful now, on the surface, you are only a first level heraldry warrior. I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to enter any heraldry academy, Sophia said worriedly. Do I need to meet some other requirements to enter the academy? From what you said, it seems that there are several heraldry academies. If you hadn't lost your memory, I would have really doubted whether you were from the dragon continent. You don't even know the most common sense things on the dragon continent. The academies on the dragon continent are divided into low-level academies and high-level academies. There are a total of 6 low-level academies and 4 high-level academies on the continent. The admission standard for low-level academies is to enter as a second-level herald warrior under the age of 18, or to enter as a third-level herald warrior under the age of 20. There is also another type of academy, where one can study in the academy as a borrowed student when the strength reaches level 4. For high-level academies, there are those who have been promoted from low-level academies, reaching level 4 under the age of 35, or reaching level 5 at the age of 45. Of course, if you can reach level 7, the age limit will no longer exist. There is an instrument specifically for identifying age in the Heraldry Academy, so no one's age can be hidden. Sophia said. How old am I now? Does this age identification instrument identify the age of the soul or the age of the body? Yunfan muttered in his heart. You know, his current body is a resurrection of the dead. If he only calculates the age of the body, it's better. If he calculates the age of the soul, forget it. Don't think about these for now. First, find a way to improve your strength. Otherwise, even if you meet the age standard, you can't enter the school. Yunfan was originally going to buy a method to practice the power of the emblem, but Sophia saw that Yunfan and her attributes were the same, so she gave her own method to Yunfan. Sophia naturally didn't know that Yunfan's true attribute was the chaotic attribute, and he could cultivate any kind of energy. He could now modify the attributes of the divine pattern on his right hand at will, but Yunfan would not tell anyone about these things now. He still understood the principle that a man is innocent, but guilty of possessing a treasure. This so-called practice method is actually how to absorb the power in the dragon crystal and dragon crystal coin to construct the emblem, and this level of emblem is the foundation of practice. This so-called righteous dragon god is really insidious. The foundation of cultivation is the divine pattern of this level, and this divine pattern is a sacrificial divine pattern. He can get all the power of the cultivator if he wants. Yunfan sneered in his heart. This is still good. If it is those evil gods, they will directly sacrifice the lives of believers to improve their own strength. Sakadin said, wait a minute, I will help you modify this cultivation method to improve the utilization rate of elemental power. In fact, this so-called emblem is not difficult for you to understand. It is constructed using the simplest divine pattern. Yunfan responded thoughtfully, this thing is actually similar to making a magic scroll. The magic scroll is to engrave the divine pattern on the animal skin, and this emblem is directly engraved on the body. It turns out that all roads lead to Rome. What is Rome? Is it a place name? Why have I never heard of it? Sakadin said to himself with some doubts. Ahem. Yunfan just remembered that there was no such place as Rome in the alien continent. Don't dwell on where Rome is. What I mean is that the path to becoming a god is essentially the same. It's all about studying the most fundamental rules of this world. That's right. As long as you can understand the rules of a big world, it's easy to become a god. Yunfan began to ponder the so-called emblem, simulating the changes in it over and over again in his mind. Let's go. I'll register you as a dragon hunter first. Only after you register as a dragon hunter in the Dragon Hunter Guild can you trade in the Dragon Hunter Guild. It can be said that the Dragon Hunter Guild is the second largest force in the Dragon continent besides the temple, but all emblem warriors will register to become dragon hunters. Yunfan went directly to the Dragon Hunter Guild with Sophia. Joining the Dragon Hunter Guild is actually very simple. You only need to fill out a form. Yunfan quickly completed the registration. The other party directly handed him a badge representing the identity of a dragon hunter. He pinned the badge on his chest and officially became a black iron level dragon hunter. The dragon hunters are ranked from black iron, silver, gold, diamond, star, and hunter king. Black iron is for beginners, and the highest level is called hunter king. It is said that there are only 9 dragon hunters at the hunter king level in the entire continent, and each of them is the founder of a major force. What are the strengths of the 9 hunter kings? Yunfan asked with some curiosity. The hunter kings have always been very mysterious. Few people know the strengths of these 9 hunter kings. I think they should have reached level 9. Sophia shook her head slightly and said, if it is level 9, it's okay. Yunfan muttered softly. What do you mean it's okay? Sophia felt that Yunfan was always mysterious, as if he had hidden countless secrets. Nothing. The two registered a dragon hunting team. The captain of the dragon hunting team was Yunfan, and the deputy captain was Sophia. Yunfan didn't want to be the captain at first, but under Sophia's strong request, he reluctantly agreed. The Dragon Hunting Guild is not just about hunting dragons, they also issue various tasks, which is somewhat similar to the mercenary guild that Yunfan once joined, but the functions are more comprehensive. Because the level of the dragon hunting team is the lowest, there are no good tasks to receive, only some tasks such as sending letters. Ji Yunfan and Sophia both disdain to do this kind of task, so they decided to directly hunt dragons to improve their own levels. But before that, Sophia decided to try to break through the 4th level first. With the dragon crystal obtained from the 4th level dragon killed by Ji Yunfan, Sophia has a great confidence that she can break through herself. Breaking through on the dragon continent is a very important matter. It is usually very secretive and will not be easily told to others, except that the two have a very good relationship because there is no room for distraction when breaking through. If other people do bad things at this time, not only will all the previous efforts be wasted, but there may even be life-threatening dangers. Sophia was able to tell Ji Yunfan about the breakthrough, which shows that Ji Yunfan has a very high status in her heart. Don't worry about breaking through. I'm here to guard it. There will be no danger, Ji Yunfan said. Chapter 549 Rapid Advancement. He already knew the strength of the masters in the whole city, within 1,000 miles, except for the Dean of the Heraldry Academy and the patriarchs and elders of some big families who could bring some threats to him. He didn't take anyone else seriously. But how could such a person come to deliberately make trouble? Although Ji Yunfan had perfectly simulated how to absorb the power and divine patterns in the dragon crystal in his mind, he had never tried it in real life, so he was still very curious about Sophia's breakthrough. Sophia directly held the 4th level dragon crystal in her hand, then sat cross-legged on the bed, and then closed her eyes. Lala looked at her sister very nervously, fearing that something unexpected would happen. Brother Yunfan, sister will definitely succeed, right? Lala said in a low voice. Your sister is so talented that she will definitely succeed. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but whispered to comfort. Let's not make any noise now, okay? Let your sister concentrate on breaking through. Lala quickly closed her mouth, still looking at her sister nervously. At this time, Sophia's breakthrough had also begun. The dragon crystal in Sophia's hand slowly burst into red flames, and the red flames illuminated the entire room. A flame force emerged from the dragon crystal and slowly flowed towards Sophia's emblem. The energy flow in the entire room was under the surveillance of Ji Yunfan's mental power. Sophia constructed the emblem bit by bit, but when Sophia's emblem was half constructed, Ji Yunfan's brows suddenly frowned because he found that the emblem constructed by Sophia seemed to have some deviations. Although this deviation would not cause her to fail in constructing the emblem, it would cause half of the power to be lost when activating the emblem. What to do? Ji Yunfan thought for a moment, then projected his mental power onto Sophia. Ji Yunfan mapped the steps of building a perfect level 4 emblem into Sophia's mind. Sophia was shocked at first, but she immediately calmed down. Out of trust in Ji Yunfan, she began to build it according to the steps that Ji Yunfan mapped into her mind. Although she had some bumps at the beginning, she soon got on the right track. Time passed by, and when Sophia constructed the last stroke of the level 4 emblem, Sophia completed the promotion and became a level 4 emblem warrior. Congratulations, Sophia, you succeeded, Ji Yunfan said with a smile. Thank you. If it weren't for your help, I really don't know if I could complete it. Sophia looked at Ji Yunfan's face and continued, I won't tell anyone about your help to me. To be honest, Sophia became more and more curious about Ji Yunfan because she had never heard of anyone who could help others complete the promotion in this way, and she felt that her emblem was more friendly to the power of the elemental evil dragon. This was simply beyond her cognition, but Ji Yunfan had refreshed her cognition several times, and now she was a little used to it. Sophia, do you still have a second level dragon crystal in your hand? Ji Yunfan suddenly asked. What? Sophia was slightly stunned. She was a little confused about what Ji Yunfan wanted to do, but she still took out a second level dragon crystal from her body and handed it to Ji Yunfan. I'll try it first and see if I can upgrade first, Ji Yunfan said in a flat tone. What? You just awakened the emblem today and you want to upgrade now? How is it possible? Sophia was shocked by Ji Yunfan's words. As far as she knew, the fastest person to upgrade on the evil dragon continent also upgraded to level 2 in 10 days, and that person was the son of the Hunter King. It's just a try. It's not certain whether it will succeed. Ji Yunfan spoke casually, as if he didn't care at all, but Sophia could feel the confidence in Ji Yunfan's bones. It's okay. He may be able to create a miracle. Sophia laughed at herself. What happened to her? Why did she think he could succeed? She used to be very rational. Yunfan didn't say anything else, and didn't even sit down. He just closed his eyes, and began to construct the pattern while standing there. This? Sophia looked at Yunfan in disbelief. He was trying to break through now, but shouldn't he sit cross-legged and meditate to reach the best state for a breakthrough? What the hell? Maybe he just said it casually, and it shouldn't be taken seriously. Before Sophia could recover, she was surprised to find that the emblem on Yunfan's hand had changed, and the speed of change was very fast. She felt as if she was writing on his hand with a pen. This is too fast. Is this really constructing an emblem? Or is he just drawing it for fun? Before Sophia could calm down, Yunfan had already completed the construction of the emblem. It's okay, I barely succeeded, Yunfan said in a flat tone. Damn it, it's not barely, you just completed the promotion as easy as drinking water. Is this still the emblem warrior promotion I know? Is it promoted now? What else do you think? Yunfan said as a matter of course, go hunt some more dragons at night, and when you are promoted to level 3, go to the junior college. Sophia felt that she was hit hard. In the eyes of others, she was a genius, but compared with the man in front of her, why did she look so mediocre? In the next few days, Yunfan and Sophia went to hunt dragons every night. Yunfan easily solved the low-level dragons with just one move. Yunfan and his friends did not encounter dragons that were too high. Instead, they encountered a few blind ones who wanted to rob Yunfan and his friends, but they were easily solved by Yunfan in a few strokes. The more she stayed with Yunfan, the more curious she became about him. Sophia was very curious about how powerful Yunfan was. You know, they encountered a level 5 dragon yesterday. Sophia originally thought that they would get into a big battle, but what she didn't expect was that Yunfan only used a dozen moves to solve the dragon, and he didn't even use the dragon's power. On the 5th day, Yunfan was directly promoted to level 3, and on the 10th day, he was directly promoted to level 4. Reaching level 4 met the standard for entering the junior college as a borrowed student. Even if he couldn't enroll normally, he could enter the junior college as a borrowed student. This was enough for him. Now is not the time to enroll. Wait for 3 months before you can take the entrance examination. The person in charge of admissions at the Junior Heraldry Academy said to Yunfan. 3 months is a bit long. Doesn't it mean that you can enter the academy as a borrowed student at level 4? Chapter 550 Borrowing Reading. Borrowing students are different from regular students. There are many restrictions. Regular students can become apprentices. Can I go to the academy library? That's fine, but that's good. I'll be a borrowing student. What Yunfan lacks most now is the basic situation of the mainland. He doesn't think he can learn less in the academy. The most powerful person in the entire academy is the dean of the academy, a level 7 emblem warrior. This level is unattainable in the eyes of others, but in his eyes it is very ordinary. You must know that Yunfan's peak state has reached the 9th level of the saint rank, the same level as the 9th level emblem warrior. Although his strength has greatly decreased now, he can still compete with the 7th level emblem warrior. So there is really no one in the entire academy who is qualified to be his master. Well, show me your emblem, let me see, said the admissions director. Yunfan gently waved his right hand and activated the so-called emblem. 4 red halos appeared around Yunfan. It's done. The director in charge of admissions was still very surprised that Yunfan had reached level 4 at such a young age, so he couldn't help asking again, don't you really consider waiting for a few more months to become a formal student of the academy? As long as you become a formal student, you will have a bright future, and then joining the law enforcement team of the academy in the future will also be a natural thing. But it is much better than your identity as a borrowed student. Think carefully. If you are willing, I can let you enroll directly after 3 months. If you are too attentive, you are either a traitor or a thief. I always feel that the director in charge of admissions is very enthusiastic about me, but I don't know why. Although becoming a formal student will bring many benefits, you will also lose some freedom. Some rules and regulations make Yunfan upset. No need. Okay, since you have decided so, then pay the tuition. Because you are a borrowed student, you have to pay 1000 dragon crystal coins every semester. The director of academic affairs in charge of admissions said. Yunfan nodded slightly, took out 1000 dragon crystal coins from his arms, and handed them to the director of admissions of the college. Oh, by the way, because you are a transfer student, the college will not arrange accommodation for you. The director in charge of admissions thought of something, and spoke directly to Yunfan. That question, I didn't plan to live in the college. Yunfan responded calmly. After completing the admission procedures, Yunfan walked out of the admissions director's office. Sophia saw Yunfan coming out and hurriedly went to greet him. How is it? Have you completed the procedures? Yeah. Yunfan nodded slightly and responded. I knew you would be fine. Isn't this my junior sister Sophia? I didn't expect to meet you here by chance. Just as Yunfan and Sophia were talking, a young man suddenly came from a distance. The young man looked gentle, but Yunfan felt that he was very sophisticated. I'm afraid it's not such a coincidence, so simple. Sophia's face sank slightly. Because of her beauty, she had many admirers in school, but she was not interested in these admirers. The young man in front of her was one of her admirers. Although this guy looked very friendly and didn't look like a bad guy, you can't judge a person by his appearance. It was said that several girls were made pregnant by this young man in front of them and were finally ruthlessly abandoned. Sophia, you seem to have some misunderstandings about me. The young man's face changed slightly, but he immediately turned into a gentleman. Some time ago, I told you that I wanted you to be my girlfriend. How do you think about it? You know, my father is the leader of the Golden Dragon Hunter group. With my father's help, you will definitely become a peerless strongman. No need, thank you. Sophia responded lightly, and then cast her eyes on Yunfan. Let's go. Yunfan nodded slightly, and prepared to leave with Sophia. This friend looks very unfamiliar. I have never seen him before. The young man cast a scrutinizing gaze at Yunfan. He should be the new student who just enrolled. Another young man next to the young man leaned over and whispered in the young man's ear. He is actually a new student? The young man was a little surprised because new students are generally older. Because they miss the best time to go to school and have decent strength, they come to the Heraldry Academy for further study, learn some advanced knowledge, and prepare for future breakthroughs. Such people are generally unskilled. He did not expect that the other party was about the same age as him and was actually a new student. You must know that the strength of a new student must be no less than level 4. The guy in front of him actually has a minimum strength of level 4, which made him pay attention. To be able to achieve such an achievement at this age, there must be some opportunities. Yunfan naturally did not know that the young man in front of him had set his sights on him. Is this friend interested in working for me? My name is Sabit, and my father is the captain of the Golden Dragon hunting team. I can introduce you to my father. After you graduate, you can join my father's Golden Dragon hunting team. The young man showed a warm smile, making people feel like being bathed in spring breeze, but no one knew what he was really thinking. This kid must have some secrets that allowed him to reach level 4 at such a young age. If I can get his secrets, maybe I can go further soon. In his opinion, the best way to explore the secrets is to keep Yunfan by his side. No need, I just registered a dragon hunting group some time ago, and I'm now the leader of the dragon hunting group. Yunfan said in a calm tone. My friend, you should know that it is very difficult to run a dragon hunting team. If you want to upgrade from black iron to gold level, it will take several years or even more than 10 years. I think it would be better for you to find a backer. The young man smiled and continued. You can reach level 4 at this age. Your talent should be good. If you get a good development opportunity, you can go further. Thank you, buddy. I like some challenging games the most. I want to see how long it will take for my dragon hunting team to be upgraded to gold level. Brat, it's an honor for you to have our boss accept you as his subordinate. How dare you refuse the boss without knowing what's good for you? Are you not going to stay in the academy anymore? At this time, another young man next to the young man seemed very angry because of Yunfan's refusal. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like, Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.